Okay, what is happening, everybody? Let's hit the buttons, push the buttons, see where we're at here. What's going on? Woke, what's happening? Levon, what's happening? Sharon, what's happening? Mike, what's happening? It's a Monday. That's what happening. It is happening. Every Monday I am so tired. I need to go to a 4-day work week schedule is what I need. No Mondays. But all that would result in is then me wanting to take Tuesdays off from that point. Also, don't make fun of me cutting my beard, because this is what happens when you ask your children and wife for advice. Just act as though the beard is still there. Okay? Let's just pretend. Maybe I can get one of those, what are they, when you put the dog ears on yourself? Need one of those for the beard. It's going to take a minute for it to grow back now. You work 6-hour days? That's pretty cool. I should work 6-hour days. What up, Jess? All right. Oh, man, I am tired and I am sore. And I am almost to vacation. I'm just going to let you guys know. It's mid-July, we're just going to have videos playing during the week because my ass is going to the beach. Going to the beach. I'm going to sit on the beach. I'm not going to do anything for fucking 4 days. Nothing. Zero. Absolutely nothing. Well, all the stuff that my wife makes me do. But other than that, I am about as tired and burnt out as a person can be right now. But we're going to keep on pounding because that's what we do. I want a beard wig. Yes. Yes. I need a beard wig. I just had a friend of mine that shared a meme that said, it's unfair because women get to wear makeup and wear wigs, and men, if you're ugly, you're just ugly. And I'm like, well, hold on. Time out. Most these dudes wear makeup. So is that true? Or is it just that poor dudes can't afford the good makeup? And also, wigs, if you guys remember, all right, there's a whole goddamn party called the Wigs at one point. And old-ass white men used to wear powdered wigs all the time. So whose fault is it that men are ugly? Is it men's fault that men are ugly? Or is it makeup and wigs' fault? Because it's out there. You could be using it if you wanted to. But you don't. Just saying. Just saying. Oh, man. What's up, you don't? You're welcome. Always happy to be on here. Always happy to talk to you guys. Trying to do the thing, Just trying to bring some sanity back to all this shit. Have real conversations. This idea that you can't make jokes when somebody from the LGBT community is around, or comedy's dying, or you can't discuss things. All this shit needs to go away. I need to be able to talk about shit. I have plenty of people that are super fucking cool that are in the LGBT community. I've never encountered this whole I'm getting canceled because I made a joke. I've had people on both sides, left and right, that get pissed off at me for my opinions, or have disagreed with me on the things that I believe. But at the end of the day, I don't know. I'm me, and I'm gonna say the things I think. Some of them are gonna be stupid. Some of them I'm going to need to educate myself on and eventually change my mind on. But for the most part, that's about being human. And I think everybody deserves some type of grace, except for maybe Donald Trump. Jess is one of them. Jess has not at one time sent me an angry email to tell me how fucking terrible I am. And I am so appreciative of that, Jess. So appreciative. Yeah, that's why I've always encountered that. I've had trans employees, I've had non-binary employees, I've had employees of all types, and all of them, everybody. It doesn't depend on any sexuality or gender or anything. People are just good people if they're good people. There's shitty people in all groups. There's stupid people in all groups. There is no group of human beings that is perfect in every way, shape, or form. And once we realize that, we can get to a point where we can all get along. I mean, there's a couple of us that may need to opt out, but but for the rest of us that would like to just get along and have a good time, we're here. We're having a good time. You have lazy employees? I have lazy employees too. My employees are actually all pretty good right now. Yeah, you know, Jess, the one thing about Dave Chappelle is I think he started his journey in the trans world in a semi-acceptable fashion. And then I swear to God, some of these people just get so damn triggered. And he got so damn triggered. Like, now, this last joke he told, like I said, I forget, I didn't watch the special. I think it was Hasanabi was watching the special. And he was breaking it down. And he did a good job of breaking it down. And that you saw the joke coming way beforehand. And it wasn't like a funny joke. It was a joke to get applause. And I was like, so what are you now? You're not a comedian anymore? You're just out there to make right-wing people like you? Like, you know, it's like, so trans people push back on you, so where did you go? You went all the way over to the right to appease those people instead. And I thought, like, when he was first doing his you know, trans journey of jokes, where it became this thing that he seemed to want to harp on constantly, and it's exhausting, you know. Like, I love comedy, and I know that there's just a certain point where you just can't make jokes about certain things anymore, because that's all you do, and it becomes just redundant, and it's annoying, and it's not funny, and that's where he's gotten to. And this last joke that Hasanabi covered, like, he didn't say what the joke was going to be, and I knew where it was going within the first few minutes of him starting the joke, where he was talking about meeting Jim Carrey as Andy Kaufman, and I'm like, oh, great, this is a trans joke. It's a trans joke. And you knew it, and then he got to it, and he finished the punchline, and people applauded instead of laughing. And I was like, that's not comedy, man. Like, Dave Chappelle was a very funny person for a very long time. And like I said, even at the beginning of his journey in this realm, his jokes weren't that bad. And then he allowed criticism to get to him, just like I think Rogan did the same thing. He allowed criticism to get to him. And instead of responding to the criticism as though, okay, hey, maybe that's not my lane, and maybe, you know, I'm not going to keep going that route, instead he decided for some fucking weird reason that he was going to entrench himself and just keep going further and further, like he's some kind of fucking, like, comedic Joan of Arc, you know, like he's going to die to be a martyr, you know, and it's like, you don't got to put yourself on that cross, you know? You don't got to. What up, Jeremy? Yeah, and that's exactly. You can make fun of any group of people. Any group of people. You can make jokes. I love making jokes about ginger, and we're the largest minority in the country or the world, okay? Look that shit up. Ginger's the largest minority in the world. We've been bullied and fucked with our whole lives. I was told by my aunt I had beautiful red hair, and then she followed that up with, too bad girls don't like redheads, okay? The number of insults that I grew up with in my life was fucking out of control. But you can make fun of my people. I don't mind that. I don't mind it. But you got to have some class. It can't just be crass bullying insults. It's got to be funny. And, you know, I think that guy, they call him the Dark Lord of Comedy or whatever his name was, said it best. And that is, if you're up there and you're making jokes and those people aren't laughing, that's not on them, that's on you. And that means that your shit isn't funny to those people. You're not being canceled, not being told that you're a bad person and you need to go away forever. You're just being told at that moment, you're not fucking funny. And it's okay. There's plenty of comics that bomb, that do bad jokes. There are great comedians that make bad jokes, okay? But then they fix them, or they get rid of them, or they go for a different crowd. And obviously now he's going for a different crowd, not my crowd. Yeah, exactly. You shouldn't punch down in comedy, but that doesn't mean you can't and still be funny. And that's something that's something I've disagreed with people in my life on the left about, where they say, well, you should never punch down in comedy. And I said, well, there are times. Like I said, I don't mind. I don't mind when people make fun of me for being ginger. I don't mind when people insult me for being super fucking pale. You know, there's a lot of things that, you know, like, I've been, you know, fucked with my whole life. I mean, at one point or another, I lived in a predominantly black community in which the words, God damn, you're so white, got said so often that at one point or another, I was like, okay. I get it. I am so white I glow. I understand that. That shit ain't funny anymore. But it was funny for a bit, you know? Like, you know, it's all about that. And if I used to say XXY, I'm also say oh, Jesus, Jess. Jesus. Holy shit, Jess. Oh, man. That is crazy. And that, I don't even know if that's supposed to exist. You might be a singularity. Jess, you might be the reason that we are in this strange reality. You popping into existence might have just fucked everything up. If you go to Ireland, the percentage of redheads is higher per capita in Ireland than there are anywhere else in the world. But it's insane. Reddit did the math for you? That's hilarious. Of course they did. Oh, man. Yeah, South Park didn't help at all. But I don't mind it. Like I said, as far as I go, I grew up in a community where we made fun of each other nonstop. So I'm probably a bit broken in that area. Like, probably my bar should not be applied to other people. And that's why I've always tried to say that. Like, you know, I make some pretty crass jokes, even like in my professional life, like with my employees and stuff like that. I'll make jokes. And if they feel uncomfortable, which I've never had an employee that was uncomfortable, but if they were and they said, hey, that's just not my style and please don't do that, we would obviously be like, oh, okay. Hey, look, what's funny to me isn't funny to you. You know, that's completely understandable, and your comfort matters to me in that way. And we have this weird mentality in today's society of being like, you don't like it? That's too bad. And I'm like, okay, well, that makes no fucking sense at all. In fact, I was just about to do this. I wanted to look this up because I saw this. Just so you guys know, I'm Gen X. Okay? Most of you guys, I know you guys probably. My crowd is 35 and older, so that means that most of you guys are Gen X, boomers, or you are a, millennial, right? Millennials after Gen X. So, I saw this guy's video on Gen X, and it cracked me up. Because this is literally me. This guy, he covered this subject in the best possible way. And it explains why I'm so prickly. And it also explains a lot about Gen X and what the fuck is wrong with us, okay? This is the best explanation of
carbon capture.
Why we as Gen X are the way we are.
For heavy industry. Let's deliver.
Okay, whatever you want. Oh, X on
y'all
mobile, fuck
noticed
you. All right. So this is a video. It's a dad bod veteran. And I love this guy's accent. I don't know what his political beliefs are, but I don't give a shit. I think he's got, this video is fucking amazing. So he's reacting to this lady talking trash about Gen X, and it's hilarious.
Have y'all noticed that Gen X is just disappeared in the abyss? Like,
what up, Bucket?
What are they doing?
What up, right?
Are they working
what up,
jobs?
Fatty? Jeremy, did I say hi?
They're
hi
not
again,
doing
Jeremy.
barbecues. They're not doing family events. They're not watching the grandkids. Like, what are they doing?
Okay, first of all, though, I'm going to just say this. She is not wrong. Okay, she is not wrong. that is the truth.
Madam, you've highlighted some great points on the ways in which you think that Gen X has failed you. So on behalf of an entire generation, allow me to sarcastically apologize. But you see, we've been doing all of those things for far too long, and we're still doing those today. Yes, we've been taking care of the house, clean.
Yeah, see, the moment he said that shit, I was like, this man is on point. We have been doing those things for too long. And Generation X has been, okay? Our ass has been working through everything. We landed in like the strangest of periods and have somehow found ourselves here and now. And we are tired. We are so tired.
We're still doing those today. Yes, we've been taking care of the house, cleaning, cooking before our parents got home, only to be sent to our rooms for God knows what.
Right?
We've been taking care of the lawns on the weekends, and for most of us, we were working full-time jobs by the time we were teenagers.
Exactly. So, like, all those people that come in here and they're like, you probably live in your mom's basement. You're a cuck liberal that doesn't probably know hard work ever. I'm like, dude, I started, okay, if you want to just go all the way back when I started doing shit for money, when I was about 13 years old, 12, 13 years old, we actually used to drive around with this dude in his S10 pickup, and we'd go around to like Walmarts and stuff like that and steal cardboard out of the backs of like Walmarts and shit like that, because he had this whole hustle where we'd go and, oh dude, it was always the worst. Those poor Walmart employees, I feel so bad. They'd come outside and we had snipped the bell. And if you've ever seen a bell of cardboard, it's about yay, but it's all compact. And when you snip those bells, it just goes all over the place. And so those poor employees, they come outside, and it was my 12-year-old ass and my 10-year-old buddy, and then this like dirty ass white dude from the trailer park with this beat up ass S10 pickup, and we'd be stealing the cardboard out of the back of the Walmart, and they'd come outside and, what the fuck? And we'd like, go, go, go! And everybody jump in the trucks and take off. Okay, so really, I started working when I was about 13, because that dude would pay me about $20 a day, me and my 10-year-old buddy, to steal cardboard, because then we would take it to the recycling center. We'd do all kinds of bad shit. We put wet newspaper. We put rocks in the truck. We do all kinds of bad shit. Anyways, don't judge me. All right. So we get about $20 a day from that dude doing that shit. And then, unfortunately, one day we got pulled over, and it turned out that, yeah, that truck was not that man's truck. And then we walked our ass home in Bakersfield heat, okay? Anyways, we started there, all right? And then by the time I was 16, I was working for, like, I shit you not, like farm worker wages, doing roofs in Bakersfield, because I wouldn't go to school. I pretty much dropped out when I was 16. Luckily, I had a badass librarian that eventually saved my ass and would come to my house and do homeschooling with me. And she's the only reason I graduated. But my badass would not go to school. And so I go to work with my my brother-in-law at the time. And this is how white trash families work, okay? So my brother-in-law was about 50. I was about 16. My sister was about 26. All right? That's how that works. All right? That means my nephews were older than me, okay? I had nephews that were like 28, 30 years old at like 16. All right. But my 16-year-old ass would be up on roofs in Bakersfield in 100-degree heat. And I work like 40 hours a goddamn week. All right. And I get paid like fucking farm worker wages. And I'm not talking about legal farm worker. I'm talking illegal farm worker, like $4 an hour. Okay, had no idea that this guy was making like $700, $800 a job, while my ass was making like $15. Anyways, this is why Gen X is so unhappy. Suddenly, Alabama.
Still doing that today because, well, we have to take care of our elderly boomer parents before they move on to Valhalla. And we're still probably paying bills for you. And honestly,
exactly,
we're quite tired of it. Some of us are transitioning into that period where we're just going to sit in the sun for a little while before we make our own journey to Valhalla. And honestly, it's your turn to take over this earth. It's no longer our responsibility to raise your children, to do those things, work those jobs, pay your bills. It's no longer our journey. It's yours. The quicker you realize it, the better off you'll be. One more point of advice. Might I recommend that you check yourself before you wreck yourself? Because you see, poking the Gen X bear, it's not a good idea. And while we are for the most part quiet and calm, we are a ferocious tiger that when poked, we're probably going to rip your arms off and beat you with it. So please, next time, restrain from saying that Gen X is not doing something, because I promise you, if you were to look in the mirror, you'd realize that it's not our job to do it.
Goddamn right. And that's why all these people don't understand. They come in my goddamn chat saying dumb shit, and then I shit on their faces. You know why? Because Gen X is tired of your shit, alright? Because you know what we did? Our ass would go outside and get beat, and then we'd come inside and get beat, alright? The fucking older generation before us, the boomers, done fucked up a bunch of shit. Had the biggest middle class of all time. Allowed corporations to get out of fucking control. Alright? And then they kicked the shit out of us. We go outside, get fucked up. Come inside, get fucked up. Dude. Cardboard nails do not go all over the place when cutting the wires. They're not nails. What the fuck are you talking about? Are you trying to say bells? What the fuck are you talking about? Are you arguing with me over the bells, Abel? Are you arguing with me of whether or not a bell, when snapped, goes all over the place? This is the strangest argument to start tonight. He's not Jimmy. I love that man's accent. It was an amazing accent. Anyways, like I said, Gen X is tired of this shit. we were for the internet. We came with the internet. We had to do the hard work to get a hold of any kind of pictures of naked women. All right, it wasn't just all over the internet and shit like it is now. And Gen X is about tired of everybody's shit right now. And you keep it up, people are gonna fuck around and find out. Anyways, today we're gonna watch the Donald Trump Logan Paul interview because I heard it's a banger. Okay, we got Trump's cognitive decline, and as my boy Fatty pointed out, Adam Mockler's doing his first live stream. Pretty dope. So check out Adam. Go over, say hi, click the like button, hit the subscribe button. Adam Mockler's amazing young man doing the fucking Lord's work out there. All right, we got Luke Beasley. Trump supporter caught losing it bad on camera because that's what they do for a job. Trump supporters lose their shit on camera like they're fucking addicted to it, which I think they are. It's the attentions. It's the look at me. Look at me. Now, I'll say the craziest, weirdest shit that you will ever hear just so you look at me. We got Vosh, which Vosh is kind of a weird character. He's a weird dude, but he's got some shit that he's talking about some dude that apparently had set up that he was going to shoot somebody to start a war in Arizona. So we're going to watch that. We got Scared Ketchup talking about Donald Trump's 78th birthday. We're going to check that out, okay? You guys know we're not going to get to half these videos, right? Because I'm just going to sit up here and talk for a long time. Yeah, the J.C. Penney catalog. Exactly, Mike. Mike, you know what's up. You know what's up. Okay, we got Republican Party is dead and it's her fault. Okay, guys, guess who he's talking about? Who possibly could Tennessee Brando be talking about when he says that the Republican Party is dead and it's her fault? Just, you guys guess. You guys guess. Very good, woke, very good. We got the Blacks for Trump, where it was at a black church, and it turns out the whole goddamn crowd was white. But it's okay, Trump supporters don't care. They don't fucking care. They're like, yeah, look at all those black people. There were like 3 of them there. That's a lot. And that's about it. We're going to check it out. I don't know if you guys know who Andrew Wilson is, but he's a conservative dude. He talks a lot about dumb shit like no-fault divorce. But apparently he cooked the libertarian Dave Smith in a debate, and at one point or another we'd like to watch that shit as well. Andrew Wilson, not my favorite dude ever, but watching him cook Dave Smith might be one of the most amusing things that I could possibly do with my night tonight. So if we don't watch that, you guys should go check that out on your own. So let's start with let's check out this, because this was actually pretty weird. Like I said, I don't really watch Vosh very often. He's kind of a trippy dude. But this looked like a really interesting story. So let's check this out.
Arizona man accused of plotting a shooting to start a war. Whew, somebody's got main character syndrome.
Plotting a shooting to start a race war? Is that what he said? Sorry, I'm
Somebody's read through, the Turner Diaries, gone on 4chan, read too many
Jess.
green text posts about how, like, you can be the man of the West who
MTG.
saves everything. I don't know about that one.
Tonight,
Jesus.
federal court records are revealing how the FBI broke up a plot to stop a... Back in October...
Wait. Okay. Revise your script. Broke up a plot, comma, to stop a mass... That's easy in
does he bleep
in
out
text.
all of that stuff? Vosh, stop
But it
being
sounds
such a
like the
pussy.
FBI stopped a plot to stop the shooting.
The FBI says it began its investigation into Mark Prieto after a confidential informant who spoke with him more than a dozen times over 3 years at various gun shows said Prieto called for a shooting targeting blacks, Jews, and Muslims before the 2024 presidential election. During a January gun show in Phoenix.
Don't worry, guys, they're not racist. Totally not racist, guys. Not racist at all. Remember, there's black people that vote for Trump. There's some Latinos that vote for Trump. There's gay people that vote for Trump. Totally not racist. He was just trying to start a race war by killing African Americans, Jewish people, and minorities. Totally not racist at all. God.
Prieto tried recruiting that informant and an undercover FBI agent. According to court records, Prieto wanted to carry the plan out in Georgia because he says when he was a kid, that was one of the most conservative states in the country.
He's a return guy. He's just mad that Atlanta is so black and gay now. It's just like he walked down the streets of Atlanta and he saw a black guy with like dyed hair or something, and he was like,
"That's it. That's the end.
No longer.
No longer."
Imagine starting a race war, but being like, which race? All of them? Yeah, how does that even start a race war? Does he not? Is he like so mentally ill that he doesn't realize that a crazy far right, like white guy, indiscriminately shooting Jews, Muslims, and black people would not, in fact, cause the men of the West to rise up and war, but would actually lead to a massive like counterwave against conservatives and racists?
Yeah, it wouldn't start a race war. They'd be like, wait. An old racist white man shot minorities? No way! That's so out of the ordinary. It's time for a race war. Dude, if that was going to start the race war, that shit would have happened a long fucking time ago. Jesus.
Just because that would be like a like it's like an op bit, you know, except in this case, like the feds were the ones entrapping. Well, sorry, I shouldn't say entrapping because this isn't legally entrapment at all. The feds were the ones, you know, spinning the web that he got caught in.
More specifically, Prieto wanted to carry out the attack at a rap concert because
oh, God, what the fuck? Okay, I'm with Bosch on this one. What the hell, man? Like, can this get any more racist? Oh, my God, dude. It was like a fucking stereotype.
Your life is going to end here. You know that, right?
Oh my God.
You're choosing. This is the final plan you'll ever have to make. Can you put more than 5 seconds of thought into this? Racists are so fucking stupid, dude. Like,
Jesus
ask a
Christ,
racist, hey, where are you gonna like start the race war? Rap concert.
You know, it would have been amazing if he would have did it at a Tom McDonald concert, thinking that there is going to be black people there. Could you see this gentleman showing up to a Tom McDonald concert and he pulls out his gun and he's like, all right, where are the minorities? What the fuck? I know some of these people. That's Marge. She's a soccer mom. She doesn't even like hip hop. Why is she at a rap concert? Yeah, fucking spoiler alert, sir. Tom McDonald does not rap.
Black people. Really?
Oh, man.
No, like, you know, Archduke Wilhelm start of World War I. No, like, targeted, planned, like, I'm going to make it look like someone else did it. No, like carefully orchestrated series of events to bring about a, like, conscious reawakening of the glorious return with a V white man Western society you dream of returning to. What are you talking about, man? I'm gonna be real, there's lots of white people rap concerts. Yeah, firing indiscriminately into the crowd at an Atlanta rap concert hits like 17 suburban white boys. Maybe they're just idiots. I wonder if there's an extremely well demonstrated scientific correlation between being racist and being low IQ. I wonder.
He said
I wonder. God, that fucking Jesus. I'm not trying to make jokes, okay, about fucking shootings at rap concerts. It's just that I came from a area where there's lots of shootings at rap concerts, okay? I grew up in the era of Biggie and Pac, okay? Shootings at rap concerts were just an everyday thing. That's just fucking what we did back in the day. It was like fucking, you guys play Call of Duty. Just saying, okay? All right? That's what fucking happened.
be, quote, a high concentration of African Americans. During a February meetup at a gun show, Prieto began offering details of the plan, including the number of guns to be used. During this...
Well, I really like that, the pop-up.
Wait. Okay, so so Jess, what you're saying is he literally told people that he was buying the guns from, that he was going to do this? Is it like a bar of entry to be a Trump supporter that you also have to be really bad at committing crimes? Like, is that like hazing? Like, you know, like, look, when you get indoctrinated into one of these like cults or something like that, I'm sure they do some fucked up shit to you, right? Like in gangs, to be in the gang, you gotta do some shit so that way they got dirt on you. So that way, like, you know, just in case you snitch on somebody, they got something to snitch on you. Is that what it is? Or do you have to get into the Trump gang by openly spreading the evidence of all of your crimes everywhere you go, so that way one day you will be caught for the dumbest fucking crime you can possibly be caught for? I mean, it's kind of good. It's good that these people are this bad at crime, because obviously it's really helpful in catching them. It's too bad that the people that are hanging out with them can't look at them getting caught while doing the dumb shit that they do and talking about it and go, oh, wait a minute. It seems like I'm surrounded by a bunch of fucking morons that commit crimes. I should probably not be here. Jesus Christ.
Here. Prieto wanted it clear the attack was racially motivated.
God.
Really? Okay. All right, good. Don't leave anything to chance there, you know?
Yeah. Just make sure
During this
knows.
meetup, Prieto sold that undercover agent a gun for $2,000 and said he would...
Okay, I don't want to give the game away for the feds here, but considering how cheap guns are in America, if somebody offers to buy... Hey, if somebody's like, hey, I'll buy that firearm off of you for $2,000, and also mind telling me some details about your plan to do a mass shooting, that guy's a fed.
Vosh isn't even from the ghetto and he knows. Dude, if some fucking cop rolls up and he's like, hello, young black drug dealer, I would love to buy an eighth of the marijuana for a total of $150. It's time to leave. It's time to be like, I don't sell drugs. Fuck away from me, sir. Excuse me? You're in the wrong neighborhood. Who the fuck? Okay, well, I guess Hunter Biden did buy that one gun for $5,000. Oh, man. That is hilarious.
Come on, man. 2,000? What was it a fucking anti-materiel rifle? Are you kidding me? What are you talking about?
Fed as fuck, Florida.
Guns are $5.
You do not buy... Yes!
You can get them at Walmart.
If you're in the ghetto, you can just trade for that shit. Yeah, just so you guys know.
Come on.
Would also like to use grenades during the attack because it can, quote, cause panic.
Smoke grenades, not
actual grenades.
Yeah, okay.
No.
At another...
Oh, okay.
That's on
yeah.
Uncommon Price. Second-hand
it is.
fire, like selling a gun that's already owned.
Only
like,
fucking middle-class
like person
white
to
people are
person.
like,
They're
$2,000
directly
not
going
that
to you
much
for
a gun.
Runes loads a complete serving of fruits, veggies, adaptogens, vitamins, minerals.
Like, my buddy has a 9mm Beretta, and you might be asking yourself, why would you own a 9mm Beretta? And that's because if the person gets close enough to you that you can't use it in self-defense, you can still pistol whip the shit out of them with a 9mm Beretta. It's a heavy-ass gun.
Super
and he didn't
mushrooms,
pay that much for
prebiotics, and
that. I
antioxidants.
think he paid like
a gun. That better be a special
$800.
gun, you know? We're not talking off the rack, like specialty stuff or whatever. Some guys, like,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it depends on the model. An AR-15 is like $1,500. Isn't it way cheaper than that? A typical AR-15 is worth $500 to $800. Yeah, no. Dude, I've only seen a few guns listed like for $2,000 in the store, you know, and a lot of the times it's like obviously showboat firearms, you know, like collector stuff.
Gun show in March in Prescott Valley,
Exactly,
Prieto provided
Jess.
more specific details. That attack would take place in Atlanta at State Farm Arena on May 14th or 15th. Performing that night was rapper Bad.
I love the fact that this is the supposed side of our political sphere that knows the most about guns. the supposed side, the most informed side of the political sphere that knows everything about guns, literally bought a fucking gun. Bought or did he sell it? I didn't see a guy. I don't know if he bought or sold. Either bought or sold a gun. Either way, for $2,000 to a federal officer. Jesus Christ.
At Buddy. During that gun show, Prieto sold an AR-15 rifle to that undercover agent for $1,000 and told them to, quote, bring as many magazines as the gun could carry.
Oh my God, he was roping the undercover agent into it. This motherfucker. How do you, man, sometimes,
so
okay,
bad.
Hold on. Sometimes I have to say, man, being an undercover Fed has to be such a rewarding job. If you're
I'm happy they are.
Racist,
I'm really happy they are.
Because you can bait the dumbest motherfucker on earth and just be laughing.
Can you imagine how much damage these people could be doing if they were smart? I mean, they wouldn't be doing it if they were smart, right? Like, they wouldn't be doing these things if they were intelligent people. But can you imagine how much damage these fucking people could do if they had more than 2 or 3 brain cells? Dude, we would all be in a lot of trouble.
Internally the entire time, waiting for the big payout at the end. You know what I mean? You can just walk up to this guy and be like, boy, exactly, I remember when things used to be more white around here. I sure do hate black people. And I'd be willing to buy a firearm for $10,000 right now. And then, like, you got him. Like, congratulations. Like, you foiled a terror plot. You're going to get evidence on this.
Okay, maybe I've been a little too hard on Vosh. I don't know. Some of this shit's actually pretty funny.
Guy, he'll probably try to argue entrapment. They always argue entrapment. It never works. Entrapment's very difficult to prove, and 99.9% of the time when they argue it, it's total bullshit. This is not entrapment. Yeah. What is up, my fellow racists? I love being white. The sun, am I right, folks? Nope.
In the following weeks, agents continued to monitor Prieto's movements. During an April meetup, Prieto continued to fine-tune his plans, even discussing heading east to do reconnaissance, but emphasized the attack, quote, must happen prior to the...
Like, what the fuck is going on in these people's lives? This is one of the things that continues to astound me, is like, how are you this angry? How are you so upset living in America? Do people understand what it's like living in actual, like, shitty countries? Do they understand what it's like to live in places where crime is actually out of control, where immigration is actually out of control, where the economy is actually bad? I mean, these are all rhetorical questions, because obviously they don't. But how bad is shit in your life when you are sitting there thinking about committing murder to create a possible race war? Like, what the is wrong with these people? Like, this needs to be studied. I know that we got away from entrapping people, or I'm sorry, not entrapping, putting people into mental asylums against their will and stuff. But I kind of feel, this is what I think. So you guys know with football players how they have CTE, and CTE is not really well understood, and the only way they can understand CTE is to get the brain from the football player after they die. A lot of them, unfortunately, from opting out. Wasn't it Junior Seau that shot himself in the chest? So that way they could still use his brain in CTE studies. I'm not saying that anybody should influence these people leaving the mortal coil, okay? But what I am saying is that once they do, I think whether or not that they have given people, whether they've done it voluntary or not, like, they don't need that shit anymore. I think that their brains should be studied. Because I have so many questions. Like, I am not a uber wealthy person. I am a middle class person. And I come from, like, an extremely fucked up background. And I do not sit around thinking crazy ass shit like this. I mostly think about how good Saquon Barkley's going to be with the Eagles, whether or not he's going to make it 10 games or 16. Should I draft him first or second round? Am I being a homer by doing that? Is the new Game of Thrones episodes out? Did the boys just start? How am I going to find time between streaming to watch these? Like, that's the shit that goes through my head. What the fuck are these people sitting around doing? Why would these thoughts even enter your brain in the first place? You need a goddamn hobby. Somebody get these guys like a fucking Lego set or something. Jesus Christ.
The election, and as soon as possible. Authorities arrested Prieto back on May 14th as he crossed into New Mexico.
No, this is actually, I don't really watch Vosh either, Chris, but this was a very interesting story here. This is this gentleman apparently wanted to shoot some people before this election to create a race war, which we've gone into already why this is a really fucking bad idea and how bad he was at it and how he told on himself. It's just... look at this guy. Look at him. Like, can you tell me that this dude has some, like, really shitty stuff going on in his life? He's got plenty of money to buy guns. He's selling them to FBI agents. He's telling FBI agents his plans. It just seems like most of the people that want to be criminals in the, you know, conservative sphere weren't really cut out for it. So they shouldn't try in the first place. But also, why the fuck would you even do these things?
Investigators say he had several guns in his truck, even more found at his home in Prescott while executing a search warrant.
He had century-old bolt-action rifle or whatever, man. Okay, sure. I guess he wants to return. You know, he's older than I thought. Yeah, he's...
I just figured it out, guys. I figured it out. This is what it is. This is why he hates black people. He's got no ass. He's got no ass, and he's been seeing them big-bootied African-American ladies, and he's looking at that ass, and he's like, why? Why, God? Why did you do this to me? I am wearing a pair of Wranglers, and yet I still have no ass, okay? He's angry. He has lived his entire life with no ass. He suffers from no ass at all. This man is wearing a belt, and that belt looks like it is struggling to do its job to hold those pants up because he has nothing to belt it onto. I, too, would actually be in a very bad place if I had no ass at all. If I suffered from no ass at all. I can see it now, guys. It's understanding. I'm understanding.
Okay, sure. I guess he wants to return. You know, he's older than I thought. Yeah, he's
Sorry, Woke.
Look, I'll cut the malarkey. We're facing a critical fundraising deadline.
Joe Biden said, this is my chance right now. No better chance to ask for a donation than during this fucking video, Joe. Well done, Joe. Well done.
I mean, yeah. You get the vibe. His main defense was that he wasn't actually going to do it. Guys, I was just kidding. Guys.
Dude, don't conservatives use that now too? Isn't that like one of their defenses for these people that are getting busted for doing these crimes? Well, he wasn't going to actually do it. Like, you can't, like, that's still a crime. You can't talk about doing the crime until the FBI kicks in your door and then they, like, put you in handcuffs and you're like, hey, I was trolling. What the hell? I was totally not going to do that. I was just joking. It was literally one big joke.
Guys, I was joking. Here's more about the guy. Thank you. I was about to look up a text article. This shit is so funny, man. Federal grand jury, firearm trafficking, possession of... Transfer of a firearm for use in a hate crime and possession of an unregistered firearm. Okay. Prieto believes that martial law will be implemented shortly after the 2024 election and that a mass shooting should occur prior. It's crazy, man. It's,
Why would you think these things?
What's his name? Scott Adams, the guy who made Dilbert, believe this? He was like, if Biden wins in 2020... if you're a Republican, you and your family will likely be dead within a year. And then nothing happened, but it doesn't matter because these guys are like actually schizo. Like they're genuinely mentally ill. They actually, you would have to be mentally ill to believe this. To an extent, this guy's kind of like a victim of what is a very deliberate disinformation campaign constructed.
Yes. So in my new video that's coming out tomorrow, guys, you better fucking watch that shit. Go like it and subscribe it because it's the MAGA meltdown that should have came out Friday, but I had to fight my copyright dispute, which finally came up today, of course, 3 days later. My dispute, of course, goes through. I can show the video. It's going to happen tomorrow. But I point this out. in that people have constantly talked about Joe Biden on the right, conservatives, or not even, sometimes it's not conservatives, but MAGA supporters. MAGA supporters have talked about Joe Biden being a Manchurian candidate. And most of us in chat know what a Manchurian candidate is because we're all old as fuck. So, a Manchurian candidate, for people that don't know, is somebody that, like, you know, is brainwashed. They're given, like, a keyword to activate them, and then they're going to follow through with a foreign adversary's plan to do something bad to the United States of America. The ironic part about all of this is that these people are literally being controlled by Chinese and Russian propaganda to the point that they are defending Chinese and Russian propaganda, and they are constantly being activated by keywords by Donald Trump. I don't even think Donald Trump's part of the plan. What is he called? A useful idiot? He's a useful idiot. It's like China's like, what's that word he likes to say? Oh yeah, China. They're like, so let's program these motherfuckers to every time they hear the word China, they go, oh, I want to take out other Americans. Not knowing how fucking weird that is, it would be to hear somebody talking about China, how China's bad, and for some reason that makes you hate other Americans. I don't even think Putin's even trying. I think the Russians are like fucking, they're like literally, I think Russians are at the level of like a fucking 13-year-old trolling in a Call of Duty lobby at this point. I think they're just having a good time. I think Russians started like fucking, oh man, this is going to be difficult. And then they did that shit in 2016. In the Mueller report, it fucking lays out how that they had hacked and they had fucking used propaganda and all this other shit. And then conservatives were like, yeah, but it wasn't collusion. And the Russians thought they got caught. And they're like, fuck, they caught us interfering. And the conservatives came out and went, but it's not collusion, it's interference. And the Russians were like, the fuck? Did that work? And now at this point, they're just fucking just like Call of Duty level lobby level fucking trolling our people. And we're just, there's nothing we can do. You can't get through these people anymore. They're just like, whatever the Russian propaganda says is true, and all you gotta do is drop a fucking keyword on me, and I'm activated. Jesus Christ, man.
By billionaires to woo people like him into being psychopaths. It's you know, at the same time, how is a mass shooting going to stop a government crackdown? The funny thing is, the Alex Jones narrative was the opposite. That the Sandy Hook shooting was manufactured to give the government a pretext for doing the crackdown, which of course never happened. You know, it's one of the most expensive disinformation campaigns ever perpetrated by anybody, like on Alex Jones' part. I miss the Dale Gribble type conspiracy theorists. Yeah, there's no such thing as like neutral, apolitical. Yeah.
You guys have heard me say this how many times now? That commenter just put it in the best words that I could possibly put it. I miss the Dale Gribble version of conspiracy theorists. I keep telling my friend that sends me the conspiracy theories and tells me that the immigrants are going to take over the country and the LGBT people are going to turn me gay and all this other stuff. I keep telling them, like, every time they send me, like, a good one, a banger, like that, you know, like fucking some crazy conspiracy about the CIA, I'm like, that's it! That's the one I'm looking for! More of that! And then, like, 10 minutes later, it's like, see, Trump supporters are black. And I'm like, God damn it. There was a time where you could talk about conspiracy theories in a fun manner. I was just watching Professor Dave. If you guys don't know who Professor Dave is he's a beautiful man, does great work. He's on YouTube and he debunks flat earthers and other stuff. And he recently went into the Terrence Howard video of Terrence Howard going on Joe Rogan. But then this other dipshit went on Joe Rogan's show as well just a minute ago. And he started talking about all the shit that you saw in Ancient Aliens. You know, the fucking Anunnaki, the Sumerians, they built the pyramids, the aliens did all this shit. And there was a time when you could smoke a joint and you could watch this shit and you could just be like, whoa. I used to call it high diz. They were high diz, okay? because you get high and you'd have an idea. But then like 30 minutes later, you just go on, do it. You make yourself a sandwich, eat some M&Ms, drink a Red Bull, go play some disc golf, and that was it. You're done. That was the end of it. But those conspiracy theorists either don't exist or they're too afraid to come outside. Because the only conspiracy theorists that exist anymore are doomers. It is doomerism as far as the eye can see, and they are ruining society, and they are ruining the little bit of love that I had for the conspiracy theory crowd. Because I like to hear a conspiracy theory every once in a while. I like to hear about reptilians and fucking Lemurians and fucking Illuminati and shit. I like that shit to be made into movies. I like it to be written into books. I like to have my fantasy literature, okay? But there's that moment where you're talking to people nowadays, and you get to the point where you're going like, Serpent people, crazy. Yeah, like V, like the TV show V, and they're like, yeah, exactly, V. No, they're trying to tell us something years ago, brother. They're trying to tell us. And it's like, I don't think that's true. I don't know. And they're like, yeah, well, wake the fuck up, sheep. Okay? Shit. And you're like, whoa, Jesus, how did we get here? Also, here's a gun. I don't think you should have guns. I'll take the guns. Oh, that's
the Alex Jones narrative makes a kind of sense. Like,
no.
Exactly, it's completely wrong. But if you wanted to lie consistently, there's a thread of logic you could tenuously tie like through it, you know. Whereas the idea of like, I'm going to start a race war and prevent martial law by me, a white man, doing a mass.
I'm not a big Vosh fan, but this is a very, very interesting story. But if you like Vosh, fucking go like and subscribe to his channel. This is Vosh. This is who this is. And he's talking about an Arizona man that was apparently trying to start a race war before the 2024 election, so that way martial law could be put into effect, or because he thought martial law was going to be put into effect after the 2024 election. Yes, it's just as stupid as it sounds.
Shooting against non-white people. What are you doing? Crazy. According to the affidavit, Prieto said, the reason I say Atlanta, why is Georgia such a up state now? When I was a kid, that was one of the most conservative states in the country. Why is it not now? Because as the crime got worse in LA, St. Louis, and all these other cities,
oh my God, he dropped an N-word?
All the N-words moved out of the... See, here's an example of it not being a soft day. See the difference, guys? See the difference between a white boy rapping in the shower, like rapping along to their favorite hip-hop album, and the hard R?
Better not be dropping any
Something tells me this wasn't the soft day, folks. I don't think I'm going to get a confirmation on that. I really don't think this was a soft day, okay? I'm just saying. Moved out of those places, moved to Atlanta. That's why it isn't so great anymore.
Not
and they've
racist,
been there for several years.
Totally not racist. No, I know, Tiki. That's why I say he's kind of weird.
He also said he wanted to target a rap concert because there'd be a high concentration of black people there, and he planned to leave Confederate flags after the shooting.
I've heard some things, Tiki. I've heard some
Isn't
things.
it amazing how every one of these guys acts exactly the way that the racists on 4chan would say makes them an op? Four-letter agent or three-letter agent globe.
Okay, look, let me just say this, Tiki. I'm going to say this real quick. The last thing I need in my search history, if I fall over and die right now, which it could happen. I'm in my 40s, dude, and I'm fucking Generation X, so, you know, I've been through some shit, all right? So the last thing I need in my search history when I conk over dead here is the words Vosh and horse fetish in my search history. Okay, my wife loves me right now and thinks, well, probably okay about me, pretty well, right? And there are going to be questions after my passing if the words Vosh and horse fetish are in my search history.
Oh, so bright. Like, oh, wow, you're telling me this wasn't a psyop? This guy, like, leaving Confederate flags around and screaming from the rooftops that he's a racist and it's a race war. Like, wow, this guy's a fed. It's like, well, no, it's just you guys are that dumb.
Right now.
You're just all that
so far,
stupid.
It seems like this is,
it's always like that, Annie. It's always
our
like,
nukes are like right there.
the right wing, like, mass shooter, lunatic, schizo, conspiracy shit, whatever, like that dynamic is exactly the same as when you're in a school classroom and like one kid goes up to like read a bit from the book or do some presentation and they f it up.
Okay, I think we've had enough. That's enough of the Vosh. We got the story. So that's crazy. That's the kind of shit that we need to know about. And also, at the same time, this is the kind of shit that these people deny happens. It's so weird because people say, look at the left and look, it's all over the internet. Look at it, it's all over the internet. But none of the stuff I go and look at is this insane. It's never like somebody trying to shoot somebody, to start a race war, to enact martial law that then says that the N-words are moving out of LA to Atlanta, thus America is no longer great again, and they drop a hard R, okay? I'm going to guess that this man is not a fan of hip-hop, because he is going to do it at a hip-hop concert, and maybe he is a fan of hip-hop. Maybe he wanted some good music while he was doing some stuff. I don't know. Oh, shit, I'm breaking stuff, sorry. Jesus Christ. Like, this is the kind of stuff, like, I'm making jokes, but it's fucking, the reality of the situation is if these people weren't complete fucking idiots, they would be carrying these things out with no knowledge of anybody knowing about that in people's children. There are young people at rap concerts, and also Generation X, which you guys need every one of us from Generation X that you can get, because we are the foot soldiers. We are still the tough ones. We still have the thickest of skins, okay? We played on railroad tracks. I once almost derailed a train. Let's not talk about that. All right? Generation X, we did a lot of dumb shit, okay? Throw ourselves off. You wouldn't have the X Games without Generation X. You wouldn't have bungee jumping without... I'm sure you're like sitting there going right now like, why the fuck do we need bungee jumping? You don't need to take that attitude with me, okay? Just be thankful, okay? I'm just saying that the type of people that are going to be at a rap concert are going to be young people in Generation X, and you can't lose either one of us. So you got to protect us. I want you guys want you to remember that, okay? Don't make me play more Generation X. You know what? Actually, you know what? No, you guys asked for it. You're getting another Generation X video. Yeah, here we go. Fucking, let's see, Gen X. It's Gen X is feral. Okay. Hope, yeah. Where is it? The feral generation. That's right. We went outside, guys. Oh, hey, look, this video is pretty good. Is it in my history? Isn't that what it is? No. It's this dude. Now I'm not going to be able to find it. No, I'm not going to be able to find it. It's this dude right here? No. Oh, it's Gen X is the worst generation. Is that what it is? The guy, oh, this one right here. Here we go. Found it.
Old Spice shampoos are scientifically crafted to help make men's hair look thicker, healthier, and more moisturized.
I think we can all agree that if we're generalizing, Gen X is the worst generation.
Okay, yeah. If this is happening, if Gen Z is picking a fight with Gen X in the same way that millennials picked fights with boomers, you need to be prepared. Just to give my credentials, I am a cusp millennial, right? I'm one of the first ones, right? Meaning I have a lot of exposure to Gen X. My older brother is Gen X. He is firmly Gen X. Yeah. And he is fair. The stereotype with Gen X, obviously, is that they don't care. They do not care.
No, we don't.
Right? And I think on the surface level, you think, okay, well, that's going to be easy. Then, no, there was almost no visual record of Gen X when they were younger. Meaning they could do whatever they wanted and not have to worry ever about a video resurfacing as they got older. You combine that with the fact that most of their parents are older boomers who gave them very little parental supervision, and that is a dangerous combination, my friends. A direct result of that is that the Gen X that you're seeing today are
the ones that survived. That's right. We're the ones... Dude, our generation, our parents used to smoke cigarettes and then just hang them right next to our faces, okay? Like, if you got close enough to get burned by the cigarette, your parent wasn't like, oh, shit, sorry about that. They're like, you should have backed the fuck up. You might have even gotten smacked for getting too close and touching the cigarette. I was given a beer when I was like 7 years old. I was drinking Black Velvet whiskey by the age of 12. If you guys don't know what Black Velvet whiskey is, go figure that shit out, okay? By the age of 14, we were taking 100 proof Everclear and dumping it into bottles of Old English, okay? And if you don't know what Old English is, it is charcoal filtered. That's all you need to know. It is charcoal filtered. And we were dumping 100 proof alcohol into already shitty alcohol, okay? We were going to punk rock concerts in the basements of pizza places that were maybe about half the size of the room I'm in now, and then kicking the shit out of each other to really bad punk rock music, okay? We laid in traffic. At one point, during Gen X's come up, there was a movie where people laid in traffic, and Gen X was so bored, we had so little to do, that we went out and did that shit. We laid in traffic. The ones of us that are still alive, stop fucking with us. You better stop fucking with us. It's gonna end poorly.
Parental supervision, and that is a dangerous combination, my friends. A direct result of that is
Mad
that the
Dog
Gen X that you're
2020,
seeing
the blue
today
kind.
are the ones that survived. They fear nothing. Millennials, we were the first ones that had these programs in schools in place telling us that all the dangerous things we saw our older siblings doing were bad. As a result, many of the weak ones of us lived on. I'm direct proof of that. So all I'm saying is just be careful. They're going to act like they don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But so do serial killers. And any Gen X seniors know that I am saying this out of deep respect and also deep fear. Please do not come after me. I'm very sensitive.
My service with Mint has...
I just saw these two videos today, and I was like, this is the explanation of who I am as a person. This, like, explains so much. Like, my kids don't understand why I have very little fear for fucking anything. My coworkers, my employees, all of them look at me crazy during COVID when I'd come out of the back and somebody wouldn't wear their mask, and I'd just come out and just flip out and throw them the fuck out the store. Let's just be honest, it wasn't my greatest moments, guys. But there were times where I stood outside, out front of my store with my hands out going, take a swing, motherfucker, it's all I'm waiting for. Jesus Christ, I am praying to you. Please take a swing. It has been so long. You know, the funny thing is, all those people that were such hard asses, when there's a dude in front of them going, well, I'm right here, take a swing. You know what none of them did? None of them took a swing. Because that shit's a lot harder than it sounds. Should we watch the Scared Ketchup? Ah, Greg, you're back. I love that you keep coming back. You're a cop collar. Greg, shut the fuck up. Greg, you wouldn't survive 5 minutes in my shoes. Greg, you would have cried and pissed your pants by the time you were about 4.5 years old. You would have gave up on life and threw yourself in a fucking public pool. You would have drowned yourself in urine, Greg. Okay? You got nothing. You just come back here to get shit on over and over and over again because you like it in your eyes, in your mouth, in your ears, in your nose. There's not a hole that you don't like filled up, Greg Galvin. You like all of them at the same time. I'm not big enough for you, Greg. I'm just not thick enough, okay? But I will pull out the fatty for you, okay? In my world, we don't call the cops, brother. Shut the fuck up. You've called more cops than you ever believe in your life. Dude, anybody that tells you, I don't call the cops, calls the cops, okay?
Drops tomorrow, Saturday, June 15th, 3 p.m. left coast time. Be there.
And stay tuned to the end of this episode for a word from Scared Ketchup.
Daddy always loved me more, bitch.
Greg Gavin just comes here because he likes to get shit on.
Hey folks, as you probably know, it is officially my birthday today, and as no one requested, I am here in my birthday suit.
Holy
job,
shit.
buddy.
I know you said don't look down, but
You're
whatever
just
that is, I think it might be staring at me.
Don't be ridiculous.
Sure, Greg.
I'm pretty sure I'm being sexually harassed, and for the
While
first
you
time
jerk
ever, not
off
in a
to my
good way.
video,
So you're
that's what
saying
you
you're
gotta
not
tell
turned
yourself.
on?
No, your tits are the bomb, dude,
You
so
got
I
one
totally
thumb in your
am.
beehole right
I'm just
now,
not sure
Greg.
what else is going on down there, and to be honest, I thought you'd have a bigger cake.
Well, feel free to contact HR. Now, is there a reason
Hold
why
on.
we're out here?
Let me think.
Oh no, this is Greg right here. This is Greg right here. Greg ain't seen his little weenie in like 5, 10 generations.
Oh yeah, it's Big Daddy Day. It's your birthday, you creepy bastard. So I have a few of your closest ass lickers here to surprise you.
I can hardly wait.
So first we have Florida Congressman Byron Donalds, who sent you this beautiful leather-bound collector's edition printing of the jail cell do's and don'ts of teabagging and salad tossing, an Aryan Brotherhood shot caller.
How thoughtful of him.
Happy B-Day, my main man. I hope that book comes in handy. Be sure to check out Chapter 3, where it talks about how you can prepare for your first backdoor experience.
Wait, what? Backdoor experience? I don't like the sound of that.
Don't knock it till you've tried it.
Apparently, you need to relax your core, and it's all about the Kegels.
My core is staying tight, and I'm not doing Kegels, for fuck's sake.
Okay, hold on. I got a question. Is that, what the fuck is that? That might be terms of service right there. That might be terms of service.
Hey, bro, don't say I didn't warn you. Oh, and I almost forgot. The book comes with a 2-month supply of Kentucky jelly. That should last you about a week if you're lucky.
I thought birthdays were supposed to be fun.
Next, we have Vivek Ramaswamy, who gave you these high-tech sunglasses that display 8K photos projected on the inside of the lens of, let's just say, women who look almost exactly like your daughter, Ivanka.
Okay, now those I like.
Yes, sir. These are really cool. You can wear them when you're being borechucked, you know, to take your mind off
Genie's
things.
there.
Borechucked? I'm not going
Genie,
to be
I do blame
borechucked, for fuck's
your
sake.
generation.
You definitely will be borechucked and repeatedly, but if you do the Kegels and wear the glasses, you should be able to significantly reduce the trauma involved. Enjoy the slammer, my friend.
Did anyone get me anything that doesn't have to do with me going to prison?
Of course they
I've
did,
told
you fat
Greg
freak.
multiple times
Rudy
my sisters
Giuliani
would beat
sent
the
this
shit out of him.
24-karat gold-framed photo from the time you were seducing him when he was dressed as a dick-teasy Betty White.
Oy vey.
Oh, and he sent you a little note with it.
Hey, Donnie boy, you bloated orange blubber sack. As you know, I'm totally straight. But I would conjugally visit you like a motherfucker dressed like this.
Birthdays suck.
If I were a rich man, all night long I'd set my mind adrift. If I were a wealthy man, I wouldn't have to work hard. If I sent an itty-bitty grift begging to my ultra-mega fans, I build a big tall tower with a giant penthouse at least 30,000 square feet and dress it up just like it was a French chateau.
I don't know, Dustin. I don't know.
Then I would contact Forbes and tell them what I'm worth in disguise because they've got to be discreet. They'll know it's true. John Barron said it's so.
Kristen's a
Hey
Q.
folks, just a quick update. First of all, I was
he's a
totally
ginger?
overwhelmed and comforted by the outpouring of
Ketchup's a
comments after I
ginger?
posted the personal message regarding my health last week. And although I wasn't trying to fundraise off my illness, many of you sent in donations, and they were greatly appreciated. As for the blood clot situation, I do have one in my left leg. I call it Strom thrombosis, but
oh man, Trump been locked up Hillary Clinton because she was a former president's wife, and it wouldn't look good to unite the country. When you're starting off, it's not a good idea. He attempted to. Donald Trump did not attempt to unite anything. That's how fucked up you guys' brain is. Your brain is so broken that you look at Donald Trump and you're like, that's a uniter. Like I've said it before, all of you conspiracy theorists, you guys almost had me on board. You guys were like, what do you think? Do you think that there's a lot of corrupt people in the government? And I was like, yeah. And you were like, do you think that there should be younger politicians that are running that represent your values? Yeah. Do you think that there's been a lot of money that's been used in politics and it has created a huge wealth gap between the middle class and the ultra wealthy? And I was like, fuck yeah. And you're like, well, I've got something to sell you. And I was like, okay. And you're like, Donald Trump. And I was like, you are a fucking idiot. You guys could have picked so many better cult leaders. How many people out there could you have picked as your cult leader, and you picked Donald Trump? This is why you are the type of people that try to start a race riot, but then sell guns to an FBI agent and tell him your entire plan. Because y'all are not the smartest people in the world. Okay? And I mean that in the most loving way possible. This is a type of shit that I would say to any one of my family members, okay? Is that you guys are not real smart people. And I love you, and I appreciate you, and you are my favorite conspiracy theorists on this channel so far, since somebody blocked Frosty. But the shit you say is insane. The shit you say is insane. Tic Tac for so long, he barely has 300,000 followers. Trump and so that obviously means, Christine, because Trump had, Jesus Christ, you guys are so brain breaking sometimes. You guys break my brain so hard sometimes. Donald Trump's on TikTok and he has more followers. Therefore, guys, that means he should be president. That should make him president. Oh, Jesus Christ. No, he hasn't. Dude, every time you guys link shit and I go look at it, it takes me about 5.5 seconds to be like, nope. Nope. I literally, every time you guys link me shit, I am waiting for the time that you guys link me something and I go to it and I look at it and go, holy shit, these people are right. Wow, this is crazy. Like, you guys, do you know how bad I want that to be true? Like, do you know how bad I want magic to be real? Do you know how bad I want there to be aliens visiting Earth? Do you know how bad, like, shit, like there's a fucking group of people living inside the Earth, the hollow Earth? I am down with all of those things, but you guys can never prove a goddamn thing. You have zero evidence, and every time you guys send me shit, I go and look at it, and I'm like, this is whack. It's whack. I need you guys to get it together. I need you to get it together. Oh, Greg, you got timed out, buddy. Anyways, here's Scared Ketchup. Greg, you made it so long, buddy. You were here for so long. It was like your third time. That's pretty good. To make it that long until one of the mods has had enough of your shit, like, that's pretty good, actually. You did a good job. You made it that long before he made it that long before mentioning harming children. That's a new record for Republicans. A MAGA Republican that made it this long without talking about harming children, like that should be in the Guinness Book of World Records for my channel, because they can't not. I mean, I'm surprised Christine's made it this long. I mean, at one point or another, it's gonna get there. Christine will mention children. How much you want to make a bet? How much you want to make a bet? The WEF set hear us out before you say yuck, the insects are over. Jesus Christ, what is that sentence, Christine? Can you retype that shit? How the fuck am I supposed to even say that out loud? Come on. Thank you. You don't? Here it is. One that everybody should be able to get together on. There is only one conspiracy theory, and the plot is to separate you from your money, and it's called capitalism. That's the conspiracy. That's the conspiracy. Okay? All right? You guys can we all get on the same conspiracy? Because that's the only real conspiracy, my friend. And crickets are delicious. Okay, I've been working in the health food industry for like 20 years. Christine, you're preaching to a person that though I eat and have been on the carnivore diet before, okay, I have been on the carnivore diet before, though I have been selling products to vegans and vegetarians for like half my life. Crickets are delicious, just so you know. All right. Enough of that. Enough of that. Oh, let's watch Tennessee Brando. I'm up here bringing the trailer park so heavy right now. I'm sorry, guys. It's a trailer park day. It is a trailer park day. So we're going to let Tennessee Brando just church it up a little bit for us, okay?
You know, it's easy to say that Marjorie Taylor Greene is stupid, because she clearly is. But like my good buddy Denver Riggleman said, she's stupid, but she's just smart enough to know how to grift and dupe gullible chuckleheads.
You guys are all just going to get yourself banned.
Whenever I see someone like a Marjorie Taylor Greene up in front of an audience and I see that audience cheering them on, I say to myself, it's one thing that this person is saying something so over-the-top stupid and sometimes so over-the-top
Crowds
dangerous.
don't mean shit, Christine.
But what's even worse to me is the fact that they have a crowd of people sitting there cheering it on.
You think that
Anytime
TikToks
anyone sent me a clip of some hate pastor just ranting from his pulpit, I said to myself, okay, I can see someone being deranged and full of hate and just wanting to shout at the world. But there's people that are clapping and applauding it. The people that we grew up with, the people that we once thought were reasonable people, they're cheering this crap on. I have seen so many good, decent people that I grew up with and thought highly of share clips like I'm about to show you and pump their fist in agreement with it. And that's the part that I will never fully be able to wrap my head around. But you guys take a look at this clip of Marge where she's basically saying that she's going to lock up Anthony Fauci.
Christine,
now,
this is something
I'm
you've
sure
already
one day
repeated.
they'll try to gaslight us and say, no, they never said it.
I've
but
literally
here's
seen
the
you
clip
type
showing
that
that she
exact
did.
same thing.
I was in Washington,
you a
D.C.,
bot?
and I'll never forget when the Biden administration and Nancy Pelosi, as Speaker of the House, brought in nearly 30,000 National Guardsmen and turned our Capitol complex into a military base.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that happened.
And you weren't allowed in there. The American people weren't allowed in there. And then they proceeded to shut down the country over COVID. They masked school children. They shut down schools. They closed beaches. They silenced your speech. They kicked you off social media. They attacked the very core of our freedoms, all for a virus that they made in a lab in Wuhan, China.
That's a good conspiracy, though. I like that conspiracy. Yeah, nobody remembers that Trump actually initiated the shutdown.
Dr. Anthony Fauci should be tried for crimes against humanity. That's right. That's right.
There's that good old Manchurian candidate right there. There's that good old Manchurian candidate. Yeah, you can ban her. Go for it. Jess is having a good time tonight, so I'm not going to stop it. I told you, my Gen X is coming out today. You can't mix Gen X with the trailer park. You mix Gen X with the trailer park and you got me, you know? Oh, shit. This is what happens. Somehow I ended up over on the left and conservatives are fucked. I don't know how it happened. But my Gen X ass coming straight from the trailer park ended up on the left, and boy, do I like this. It's just like, I guess maybe it's where I saw the most confrontation. You know, if I go over on the right, like then I'm just with my people at that point, right? Like we all just believe the same dumb shit. People with money are intelligent. Shit, how much money you got? Shit, brother, China. You know, I could have joined all that. Fuck, I got the haircut for it and everything. But, you know, I chose to go over on the left so that way I could talk some shit to these people because they need it in their lives, because they're used to bullying everybody. They're used to walking over people. They're used to the left going high when they go low. But here in the Angry Gingers world, when you go low, I'll go lower. And you can't get as low as me because I go the lowest. I'm fucking like subterranean. I'm fucking tearing up your feet from below that shit. Okay? God damn it.
My wife
She was made in a lab in Moscow.
The dad that I once knew no longer existed.
My husband forgot how to get to work.
Actually, I agree with that, Aiden, where the Democrats suck at talking to their people. Democrats, see, this is the problem with Democrats when it comes to talking to people. There's a style of leadership where it's more of the results will prove what we do. So they stand back and they go, don't worry, going out there, like I said, it's the Obama. Obama says when they go low, we go high. But the problem with going low when people go high is in certain places, you look weak. You look like you're allowing people to run roughshod over you. When people walk around spitting out stupid bullshit rhetoric all the time and you think, don't worry, the masses will figure out that these people are idiots. And they don't. That is the left's fault. The left should do a better job. Where are the results then? Aiden, I guarantee you don't know anything about what I'm about to talk about, okay? The results are in the infrastructure. The results are in the economy. The results are in the fact that we didn't go into a recession. The results are in the fact that we have a 3% inflation. The results are in the fact that crime has gone down. The results are in the fact that jobs continue to be built within America. The results are in the fact that we're the #1 economy in the world coming out of a global recession, or a global pandemic, that many people are in a global recession. You can sit here and you can make arguments if you want, dog, but they have to be better arguments than that things aren't better. We came out of a global pandemic in which most other countries still haven't recovered, and yet we are doing better than anybody else. And we have a future ahead of us due to legislation like the CHIPS and Science Act that speaks volume to what the American people can be moving forward from here. Wait, every major city is a Democratic stronghold? Yeah, and we're the #1 fucking economy in the world. Yeah, during COVID. How do you look at COVID as not being a portion during our history that would result in high amounts of inflation? Do you realize that Donald Trump increased the debt by $8.3 trillion? Do you think that by giving stimulus to all of these people, that potentially that added to inflation, that made it 9%? Do you think that a global pandemic that shut down things like the production of semiconductors in Taiwan, which are in every single thing that you use nowadays, do you think that they did? Do you think the fact that corporations are reaping the record profits that they have not reaped in over 70 plus years, do you think any of those things had anything to do with that 9% number? COVID was gay. Well, it might have been. I don't know. I didn't ask COVID what it was. I mean, I don't really talk to viruses yet, but maybe AI will bring it. No, we're not, Aiden. That's fucking wrong. Joe Biden has increased the debt by something like $2.4 trillion. That's about a quarter of what Donald Trump did. And think about it this way, Aiden. Donald Trump increased the debt by $8.3 trillion by giving tax cuts to the middle class, the lower class, and most importantly, to the ultra wealthy. Middle class and lower class tax cuts are going to expire next year. But the ultra wealthy, their tax cuts are permanent unless we use an executive order to roll them back. That is what created the $8.3 trillion in debt. That and the stimulus. He didn't put forth any legislation. He didn't put forth an infrastructure bill. He didn't do any of the things he claimed he was going to do, including building the wall. All of those things he didn't do, and yet he still increased the debt by $8 trillion. Since Joe Biden has been in office, he has passed an infrastructure act. He passed the American Recovery Act. He's created job after job after job after job. He's forgiven college debt. All of these things, and he's only going to be increasing the debt by about $2 trillion. So which person do you think did a better job with the debt? The person who did nothing and created an $8 trillion debt, or the person who did multiple things and created $2 trillion in debt? And then you also have to realize how debt works. Our debt doesn't matter. Our debt to our GDP ratio does matter. And our debt to GDP ratio has actually decreased by 3% from what it was last year. So that means it's moving in the correct direction. Like, these are the things is, you guys want to... oh, sorry. I'm looking at something Woke said. By Woke, you guys can make arguments if you want to, and we can discuss these things. But you don't ever have any actual information on the things that you want to talk about. Aiden, I didn't either. And that's a dumb fucking way to think about things. Do you think that you should have to live the life I did as a kid because you didn't go through it, but I did? So why wouldn't I make it so that way you have to go through all the shit that I went through as a kid? Yeah, that makes total sense. Because the economy... Here, I'm gonna give you some homework, Aiden. Okay? You didn't go to college, but you can buy this fucking book. And this isn't a paid promotion. You can buy Steven Pinker's books, and he can teach you how the fucking economy actually does work, and how putting money into impoverished communities by taking care of minorities and marginalized communities, the economy gets better for everybody. Why giving debt relief to people that have been paying it for 10, 20, 30 years is actually very important because it increases the economy. Or you can continue to say dumb shit like, I didn't go to college, so why should I have to pay somebody else's debt off? I didn't either, Aiden, but I'm not a fucking moron. I know how the fuck to do it. I never brought up... What the fuck are you... I brought up minority communities. Jesus Christ. Whoa. Yeah, of course taxpayers pay the bill. But because the economy is getting better, that means that your taxes overall go down. Do you understand the cliche that a rising tide lifts all boats? Do you understand how the economy works? Do you understand how when illegal immigrants, the ones that you call illegal, when immigrants are in our country and do not get on social safety nets, that actually costs the country more money if they don't get on social safety nets? Do you understand that if a bunch of people are saddled with college debt and are unable to participate in society, in our economy, because they're paying a bunch of predatory banks interest rates, that's actually bad for the economy? Do you understand any of that? No, you don't. You don't understand any of it. I look like Steve Austin. You don't know too much about American politics, but I like your stance. I know plenty about American politics. Thank you, though. Wait, are you from England and you're telling me I don't know anything about American politics? Jesus, fuck, you guys break my brain. They did not come in illegally. Do you understand? Do you understand how people coming across the border come across the border? When they come to the border, they are checked in. They are paroled. They are given a court date. If they came in illegally, you wouldn't know they're here. That's the whole point of coming in illegally, is that you don't know they're here. The reason that you know how many encounters, and by the way, encounters aren't how many people come across the border, because some people are encountered multiple times per instance. You don't know that's not sustainable because you don't know jack shit about how an economy works, and you've proven that by the fact that you're sitting here, backing up everything you say with appeals to emotion. It doesn't all suck. Nothing sucks. Are you fucking kidding me? You live in potentially the greatest country in the world, and you're crying like you live in fucking Uganda. Do I know? Yeah, I know plenty about all of these things. I'm sitting here talking to you about them, but it all goes right over your head because you don't know anything about it. My guy, you can sit there and be a fucking doomer for the rest of your life, or you can learn and you can educate yourself and you can become a fucking optimist and you can be a part of society. Or you can be a doomer and just be the person that everybody hates. No one wants to talk to you because you're a sad sack that wants to tell everybody how bad everything is, and you bring everybody down, and you have no optimism in your life, so nobody wants to be around you. Like, you guys don't get that. You doomers don't get that. You're of no help. There is no job that you can ever work in. Trump is where your optimism is? So you're not a doomer, you're a dipshit. Trump is an isolationist. Do you, okay, tell me one policy, Aiden, tell me one policy and one bad thing that Donald Trump has done. This is why Democrats lose. The Democrats have been winning since 2016, brother. Do you not follow any of these things? Do you not follow any of these things? Republicans have been getting their asses handed to them since Donald Trump took the presidency. You do know that, right? Or wait a minute. Let's go with your logic. No, Republicans always win. So all of these problems that you're complaining about must be because of Republicans, and right? 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 So by your logic, since Republicans always win and Democrats always lose, that means that all of these things you're talking about are all Republicans' fault, right? Thank you, Zane. That's what I'm here for. Yeah, I am mean. I'm really fucking mean. I'm from the trailer park and I'm Gen fucking X. And we're tired of people's bullshit. Because you know what happened, Aiden? All you MAGA supporters talk shit to people. You tell people shit like that you're going to start a civil war. You tell people that you're going to shoot people. You talk shit to people. You call them names. You insult them. And then when I insult you, you get your fucking feelings hurt. You are a victim, just like your cult leader. You're a victim. Because all you can do is talk shit. But the moment that somebody else talks shit back to you, you cry. Yeah, I asked you about the policies and you gave none. You said his policies in the Middle East. What policies, Aiden? Don't say the policies in the Middle East. What policies? They're up there. Okay, I'm gonna scroll back. Hold on. Actually, I can look at. I can do this. Here you go. Channel activity from Aiden. I guess it doesn't go back. I can only look at 3-year messages, Aiden. I'll tell you what. The First Step Act. The First Step Act. Okay, so explain to me what the First Step Act is, because I know what the First Step Act is. What did the First Step Act do that was really good? I won't even make you explain the policy. What about it was good? And we're going to watch the video of Donald Trump lying to his supporters that he was at a church full of black people while we do this, okay? Because this is pertinent.
Jesus turned water into wine. You know, Jesus turned water into wine, and he also multiplied the loaves of bread. And
right, sorry,
he repeated that miracle in Detroit.
Sorry, Shaquille.
Because he turned 18 black people into 8,000. All right, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the page. My name is Reese Waters, and I'm troubled. Now, we've seen Trump's previous black voter drives. There were
See, you don't even understand the bill, buddy. It lessened.
There was.
It lessened the sentencing. So for people that were, yes, marginalized, minority communities, that were being held to levels of accountability that other people weren't, and then being put in prison for bullshit charges on things like marijuana use, were being put in prisons with people where they didn't belong to be. It lessened sentencing because mandatory minimum sentencing says that you must either at the very bottom start there or go all the way up to the top, depending on different portions of like whether or not they were a criminal before, whether or not they've committed violent acts before. So exactly, Aiden, my guy. So we've gotten past the point where we insult each other, and now we can have a conversation. Because this is how I create conversations with MAGA supporters, is you guys insult people, so I insult you back. I make you guys feel bad because you guys talk shit to people, and then we talk about things. Okay? So let's talk about things. If you want to have a conversation, Aiden, then the proper way to have a conversation isn't to come in and tell the person, your person sucks because of all these things, I believe. Instead, what you should do is come in and ask a question. You should come in and say, hey, there's the things that I support. Do you think that these things are good for our country, or do you think that they're bad? Because here in America, what we have is a really hard time communicating with each other. And I'm here to help you guys get better. You guys might not think that. Trump supporters come in here and they get really upset with me, but I'm actually here to help you because I think like you. Because I come from the trailer park. I know all the reasons that you guys think Trump is a good candidate. In fact, a long fucking time ago, if you would have asked me, I would have said, yeah, Trump seems like a good candidate. But he's not. And I can prove he's not. And I can prove he's not through his legislation. And I can prove he's not through his character. And I can prove he's not through his leadership values. Because I have experience in all of those places. I can also prove why Joe Biden is a better candidate. But let's just go with what you're talking about. Yes, the First Step Act was actually a good piece of legislation. But overall, you don't quite understand it for what it is, and you should be better educated to it if you'd like to talk about it. But you also need to figure out why he passed the First Step Act and why he owed people favors to do that. You also need to then accept that if you like his First Step Act, then you love Joe Biden's rescheduling of marijuana. because rescheduling of marijuana to a Schedule III drug has actually given the ability to governors across the United States to pardon hundreds of thousands of people that are incarcerated for marijuana use. So if you like this First Step Act, then you love Joe Biden's. Okay? And this is where we have to get with you guys, is you guys don't think that Donald Trump does anything wrong, and that's weird, and that's why people think it's a cult. The 1994 crime bill, which you reference, that Joe Biden was a co-author on, was a piece of legislation that was ill-advised and targeted marginalized and minority communities. And the reason that I voted for Joe Biden in 2020 was during a debate with Donald Trump said, "You did the most racist thing anybody could do. You signed the 1994 crime bill." And instead of like jumping around the question, beating around the bush, making up reasons, Joe Biden said, "You're right. That was a bad idea and it should have never been passed." And I was like, I think that might be one of the first times I've ever heard a politician say that he was wrong. And I said, you know what? You got one dude over here that's acting like a crazed out fucking psycho maniac. And you got a dude over here that said, you know what? You're right. I made a mistake. I'm going with the dude that said, you're right. I made a mistake. So I voted for Joe Biden. Now, since then, I've become a much more politically activated person. I've educated myself a lot more to policies. I've educated myself a lot more to legislation and the use of administration. And during this time, I've been a manager for over 20 years in different areas of the professional realm. So I know a lot about leadership. During that time, I've read about leaders like Napoleon. I've read about leaders like U.S. Grant, like Alexander the Great, Julius Caesar, George Washington. During that time, I made myself better capable of choosing a person to vote for based off of logic and not emotion. So, you see what I'm saying, Aiden? Like, I want you to be able to have this conversation, buddy. I want to be able to have conversations with all conservatives. My problem, and so you know why this channel exists not to shit on Trump, not to shit on conservatives, but to show how crazy the people that follow him are and how poorly educated and how mentally ill some of his supporters are. Because that's very important to the future of America. We can't turn a blind eye to people saying things like Joe Biden is a skin suit. We can't turn a blind eye to people saying that Obama is really running the government. Because like I said before, for a long time, conspiracy theory was a fun pastime. We could talk about things. I have a healthy skepticism of the government. I think Joe Biden does things that are wrong. I think Joe Biden does things that are right. I think that there are corrupt politicians. I think that there are good politicians. But we have lied to ourselves. We have done so much damage to each other. Not to the ultra-wealthy, not to the politicians, but to each other by selling ourselves bullshit lies like your vote doesn't matter. Bullshit lies like if you tax the ultra-wealthy, they'll just leave the country. Bullshit lies like the unions are bad for you. Bullshit lies like certain legislation isn't good for you because it was passed by the other party. And we got to stop that shit. We got to get to a point where we all can start to agree on certain things. We all agree that the Epstein Island files, let's just call them that. I fucking hate calling them that because it sounds dumb. But you guys like to call it that shit. So the Epstein Island files, we all feel like we should be privy to who the fuck was at that island. And if we're not privy to it, we should explain to us why we don't get to see it. Because if you can explain to me statute of limitations are over, it doesn't make any sense, there's no evidence, sure, I'll accept that. But first I need that explained to me, right? Like, we deserve that as the American people. Joe Biden deserves to be criticized for his actions in Israel. Even though I agree with the fact that I think that he had to do it because of previously underlying, we're an ally of America, right? Responsibilities, I was looking at. Previously underlying responsibilities. But I still don't agree with it. I still have the right to criticize his actions. The young people and the faculty at Morehouse that he gave a speech at that turned their backs on him, he said, I support you protesting me. Donald Trump would never, ever, ever, ever say to protesters that they have the right to turn their back on him. He would insult them. He would demean them. He would say that the things that they were doing were un-American, and he would sick his sycophants on them to attack them, verbally at the least, dox them, possibly, and we have already seen that most of these followers are willing to do violence, whether or not you think he encouraged it or not. They will do it. That's not acceptable. A leader cannot do that. There has never been a time in my 20 years where I have encouraged my employees to attack other employees because they didn't agree with me. That is a terrible leader. Joe Biden could sit out there and cry and talk about how he's being unjustly, unfairly demonized. He's being called Genocide Joe. He could be all of these things. He could say, like, oh my God, I'm the victim. But he doesn't. Why? Why? Because he accepts responsibility for his own actions. And you might not like Joe Biden. And I don't like all Joe Biden's actions. But I can point to pieces of legislation like the Chips and Science Act, pieces of legislation like the Infrastructure Act. As I said before, forgiving college debt is exceedingly important for the future of America. I approve of his foreign policies. I do not approve of Trump's foreign policies. We cannot be an isolationist country. We do not have all the means of production here in America and America only. If you want to see the prices of things skyrocket, then become an isolationist country. Donald Trump's policies were really good for 4 years because during those 4 years, you don't feel the effect. Donald Trump's policies were going to be very bad 10, 20, 30, 100 years from now. Because you can't do isolation policies on a global scale. You can't tell the rest of the world they all have to come to you. That's not how any relationship works. Every relationship has a give and take element. And Trump even had some good points about that we give too much. But Trump also doesn't understand the things we get in return. We do give a lot because we're building capital. We're constantly building capital with other countries. So you can only take so much before other countries go, you know what? You're not helpful. We're not going to help you anymore. It's very important. How do I feel about the war in Ukraine? I think that it's a very necessary thing for us to do. I think that we should be involved in Ukraine. I think that we should be putting a limit on how long that we will be giving well, I don't even know as far as monetary. Okay, so let me just start at the beginning. Okay, because the argument is going to be here, Aiden. Let me get to your argument before you get to your argument. The argument is that we provoked Russia, okay? Therefore, we are instigating an attack from Russia into Ukraine. Therefore, our war through proxy with Russia is costing us billions of dollars. And therefore, that's bad for America. There's a lot of other underlying things that generally you guys go into, but I don't want to spend the whole time talking about this, so I'm going to just make it short. The gist of the argument is we provoked Russia. Russia is just defending their right to have a open border or not have NATO on their border. So what I'm going to say about this is this. You just want out. Okay, all right, well, let's just say that's the normal argument. Okay, that's the normal argument. Okay, Memphis. What's up, Memphis? This is my argument with Ukraine. There is a good scenario, a bad scenario, and a worse scenario. Okay, and this is what people think. People think things are black and white. They're never black and white. They're gray. There's a good scenario, a bad scenario, and a worse scenario. The good scenario would be that we were able to talk Russia into not invading Ukraine. By the way, Russia was invading Ukraine during Trump's presidency in 2017. They were doing it through proxy with mercenaries. During that time, Donald Trump supplied weapons to Ukraine. That's the whole reason that we had an impeachment of Donald Trump, was he was withholding aid from Ukraine because he wanted them to investigate Joe Biden. But he eventually did sell something like $47 million worth of Javelin missiles to Ukraine. This is something that people don't talk about. He did that. They were involved in the Ukraine war before Joe Biden got involved in the Ukraine war. Okay? So first we're going to start there. We could even go all the way back to the Cold War as far as Ukraine history with Russia, but that's not important. I'm going to get off track. So what I'm going to say is this. I agree with you that we do need to get out of there because we have a more important fish to fry, and that is China with Taiwan. We cannot currently be involved in Israel, Ukraine, and in China. But to be honest with you, my opinion is that we should be pulling out of Israel long before we're pulling out of Ukraine. Because Israel is good on their own to do the things they want to do. We just have contractual obligations to do the things that we're doing over there right now. And in my opinion, I don't think Joe Biden has been tough enough on telling Bibi that he needs to shut the fuck up and calm the fuck down, and we're not giving him any more money. That's my personal opinion. The attacks on Ukraine, whether or not you believe the government in Ukraine is corrupt or not, are a direct or are in direct effect to the United States of America. Because if we allow them to take Ukraine, after we allowed them to take Crimea, after we allowed them to take Georgia, then we are saying to China, if you want Taiwan, go for it. We don't really stand up for people. That's a really bad idea, because our semiconductor production would shut down just like it did in COVID. And if our semiconductor production shuts down like it did during COVID, inflation goes back to through the roof. So if you know anything about used cars, you know that used cars became really, really expensive during COVID. The reason that used cars got really, really expensive during COVID was because semiconductors were not being produced. Now, semiconductors are on everything in your car, from the power windows to the engine. Some of them are higher end, some of them lower end, but all of them pretty much are produced in Taiwan. If China attacks Taiwan because we don't defend people, and China invades Taiwan and takes over the production of semiconductors, we are now beholden to China to get those semiconductors, which, by the way, they produce 90% or more of our high-end semiconductors, which are used in AI, supercomputers, and hypersonic missiles. If we do not stand in defense of countries like Ukraine, like Taiwan, then we will lose our allies. We have obligations. And just like being a good friend, if you don't stand up for people, then you lose those allies. The last thing that we want is someone like Ukraine going, okay, I guess we're part of Russia now. That means they're part of Iran, that means they're part of China, and that means they're part of North Korea. And just so you guys know, when you're defending China's right to invade Ukraine, you're also defending their right to be friends with Iran and North Korea, because that is their allies. And if you don't recognize what's going on in this world, there are groups of countries that are all competing on a global scale. And if you think being involved in something like Ukraine is bad, well, imagine if we didn't fulfill our contractual obligations to somebody like Israel. And when Israel joined up with somebody like, and this will never fucking happen, but hypothetically speaking, Israel were to join up with somebody like Iran. Israel has a really strong military. They have nuclear capabilities. They have a growing economy. Can you imagine what would happen if we lost one of our allies to join Iran, Russia, China, North Korea? We don't want to be in that area. And this is what I'm saying is people don't understand how complicated things are on a global scale. And they definitely don't understand how complicated it is within their own country. Because when we talk about the Ukraine war, we talk about the Israel war, we talk about border problems, we talk about abortion, we talk about any of the things that generally get brought up only during an election year. All of these things are extremely complicated under the surface and have many different gears, cogs, and wheels that if you don't understand how they all turn together, you don't understand what you're talking about, and you tend to make appeals to emotion instead. That's what 99% of everybody does. That's everybody. That's not just the people in my chat. That's not just you. That's not MAGA Republicans. That's not just conservatives or leftists. That is the majority of people. Because it's exhausting to try to be good at talking about every single one of these things. I'm blessed with a great memory. A great memory. I've had a great memory since I was a fucking little kid. And people don't remember things the way I do. And I can only imagine how much more work it would be for me to remember all these things if I didn't have that memory. I already have a 40-plus hour a week job. I'm already a father and a husband. Like, I don't have time to sit here and go through these things over and over and over again like some of these streamers that make money off this shit. I don't make money off this shit. I get on here to discuss people because I want to make a difference in society. I want to bring people together. I want people to talk about things, but I want people to be educated when they talk about them. Because communication is hard enough as it is. It's already clunky. But when you have a couple people getting together that all they do is make appeals to emotion, then you never actually get to a point where you actually decipher what the actual problem is. That means that you can't ever get to the point where you have a solution for the problem. So if you understand what I'm saying if you want to talk about something and you feel really strongly about it, then you shouldn't just do a cursory job of looking into it. You should look really deeply into it. And if you don't come to a point at least once or twice during the time that you're looking up stuff that makes you feel like you got something wrong, then you're not doing it right. Because there are so many times where I look into information that I get either from you guys in chat or I get from you guys, like, putting it in my comments and stuff like that, that I disagree with, that I look into, and I go, oh, that's actually pretty pertinent. I should remember that, and I'll keep that in mind. And I research things further. But if every time that you research things, every time you watch a video, every time that you listen to a podcast, all you hear is shit you agree with, then you're not doing it right. You're not doing it. If every time Trump speaks, he says things that you like, you're not doing it right. Joe Biden says things that I don't like all the time. I've literally said on this channel multiple times, I look at Joe Biden as an older dude that still hits home runs. Would I like a guy that can steal bases, throw the ball from the fucking outfield to home base? Do I want a guy that's still got fucking great reflexes? Of course I do. But I'm not going to shit on the dude that still hits home runs. I'm still going to appreciate him until I get the guy that's a 5-fucking-tool player. The problem is that you guys think Donald Trump is a 5-tool player. And Donald Trump isn't even a half-tool player. Donald Trump is a liar. Donald Trump is a con man. And Donald Trump's legislation, and I know it better than most Trump supporters do, was isolationist, and his leadership skills weren't even average, they were subpar. His leadership skills are garbage. I agree with the cunt hair of the crap you say. Well, at least you agree with something, Memphis. It's easy to point fingers. But at the end of the day, like I said, if you want to talk about things, at least be educated to the things you want to talk about. I love that everybody wants to be involved and wants to vote. That's a great thing. You should, because like I said, we've been fucking ourselves for too long. We've been telling each other your vote don't matter. And I keep saying this, the prime example that your vote does matter is people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert have jobs because somebody thought those people were great fucking people to fucking elect. Okay? Your vote does matter. And the reason that your vote doesn't matter is because you don't use it. It's time to start holding the ultra wealthy accountable. It's time to start believing in the people that you're with and stop saying dumb shit like we're going to have a civil war. I'm making a video and it took me like fucking 4 hours to make the first 8 minutes of it because I actually researched the shit I'm talking about. But I'm making a video on how stupid it is to talk about having a civil war. Like the idea, just on the surface, the appeal to emotion by itself is enough that you should think it's a dumb fucking idea. But once you get into what happens to the infrastructure of a country when you enter a civil war, how long it would take for the United States to recover from it, who exactly would actually come out on top, because, spoiler alert, it wouldn't be the left, the right, or the MAGA Republicans. Okay? Civil wars are only good for foreign adversaries. That's it. That's it. That's the only people civil wars are good for. If you don't believe me, look into America's history of causing civil wars in other countries. Don't do that to our country.
The shoes. Of course, there was the indictment.
I love that mugshot. I love that beautiful woman right there with the mugshot.
And who could forget the free chicken?
Come here, let me give you a hug.
And see, this is also the problem. This is fake and set up. And this woman was in Trump supporter. Like, this is what I'm saying is like, we've lost all reality. We've lost all reality. Nothing is real anymore because they know they can just sell you fake shit. And that's on all sides. Like, it's become WWE. It's become personalities and influencers and all this other bullshit. And you're the ones that have the power. But if you fall for the simplest bullshit, then all you get is the simplest bullshit. We shouldn't be falling for shit like this. I grew up with fucking hustlers, con men, pimps, and gangsters. I can smell a fucking con from a mile away. That's a con. And if you don't believe it's a con, then you're being conned. No, it's not about Trump. It's about the illness underneath. It's the illness underneath.
Well, Trump decided church was the next obvious move because we got to go to church, right?
Look at my African American over here. Look at him.
At least I had to.
Come on. You guys can't tell me that that's not cringy. Holy shit. This is what I'm saying. You guys just have to admit that some of the shit the dude does is dumb as fuck. Look, this is something I said the other day when a friend of mine kept sending me all the videos of Latino voters for Trump and black voters for Trump and gay voters for Trump. Have you ever realized that people don't walk around saying they're Latinos voters for Biden or Latino voters or black voters for Biden? Because they don't have to. Because in the fucking left, being a part of the party is just being a part of the party. The reason you have to say they're Latino voters for Trump and black voters for Trump and gay voters for Trump is because you're insecure. Because you know that most people look at you as racist and bigoted, and they have a history to do so. We just watched the video where a dude was literally going to shoot and kill minorities at a rap concert to start a race war before the election. And he wasn't a lefty. He wasn't a progressive. Oh, Memphis, you got fucking timed out again? Damn, son. It doesn't make sense. If you have to tell people you have black friends, if you have to tell people you have Latino friends, if you have to tell people you have gay friends, then you are insecure about it. I've said this before. You are not a leader if you have to tell people you are the leader. Term limits, James Jones?
That was not a choice that I had growing up.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Former President
Memphis,
Donald Trump's campaign kicked off its Black Voter Coalition group on Saturday at 180 Church, a predominantly black worship center in Detroit. And, well...
What up, Alan?
If you're over 50, you don't want to use traditional makeup. As we age, our skin tends to lose...
So look at that. This is a black church. What's wrong with that picture? You guys tell me. What's wrong with that picture? It's a predominantly black church. It's all a facade. It's all WWE shit. The rallies, they're always the same people. It's always the rappers. Fellatio Blow is at every single one of these rallies. It's always the same people. It's a facade. And if a predominantly white crowd at what is supposedly a predominantly black church doesn't say that to you, then I don't know what I can tell you. Because you're seeing it right now with your own eyes. It's a facade, and this is what cults do. Cults create an atmosphere, a fantasy for you to believe. Cults create a figure that you can look to get rid of. This is what I said about doomerism. It's the release of responsibility and accountability. A lot of people are fucking exhausted, and that's understandable on both sides. This shit has gotten way out of hand. They're exhausted. But the solution isn't to turn over responsibility and accountability to your cult leader. That's just literally giving up. The solution to that is to get involved, get educated to all the sides of the story that you possibly can, to criticize your own party members, to give wins to the other side when they have wins, okay? To give wins to your side. The left sucks at giving wins to their own side. The left sucks at it. On the right, people walk around sucking gigantic orange dildo-sized cocks all day long about how good Trump did all these things that he never did. Meanwhile, on the left, it's like shit on Joe Biden all day long because, you know, he had some policies which, yes, I agree, were very insensitive and deserve to be criticized. But it's like being the older kid. The left is like the older kid, and the right is like the younger kid. The younger kid always gets told, you did a good job. Look at you go. God, you're so awesome. Oh, don't worry about those other things he did. He's a good kid. But the older kid, which is the left, it's like, hey, I graduated college. Well, you're supposed to. I got equal rights for LGBT, but you're supposed to. I did this shit you guys don't like. You're getting punished. And that's how it feels right now. Like I said, my belief for all these motherfuckers in here right now, all right, is that yes, it is two wings of one bird. But the government should operate with the moderates at the helm and the fringe, the progressives and libertarians, MAGA supporters. You guys are insane. You guys need to go get mental health help, and then you can come back into the conversation. But for now, your close cousins, the libertarians, will represent you, okay? It is moderates at the helm, left and right, progressives and libertarians pushing the moderates from the outside. Because you should have logic that has passion that motivates it, and you should have passion that is tempered by logic. It's balance. I've been preaching balance my whole life. There are times where I'm physically fucking aggressive, and there are times when I attempt to mentally engage on a higher level. And I believe there's times for both. And that's why I like being on the left, is because there's not enough people like me. Don't forget to like and subscribe. But you guys hear what I'm saying? That's the fucking solution. Not all this like extremist bullshit. MAGA Republicans have fucking blown up the conservative party because they have drank the Kool-Aid of doomerism and don't believe anything can ever be better. Listen to the things they are telling you. Every single politician is corrupt except for Donald Trump. Every FBI person is corrupt. Every judge is corrupt. If you saw the thin blue line people wearing thin blue line hats screaming at police officers how much they hate them because they're supposed to be on their side. That's not loyalty. A police officer doing his job, you're supposed to support that. But they don't. Because they are the most likely person to go to the negative atmosphere immediately. This is not a shithole country, as Donald Jr. called it. From his mansion in Florida, looking out on fucking yachts. It's not a shithole country. It's a fucking great country, and I fucking love it. And for a long time, I loved a lot of you motherfuckers that were in it. And then some of you lost your goddamn mind during COVID and decided that everything should be burnt down. And that's insane. You have children here. You have grandchildren here. You have husbands and wives, cousins. You used to have friends. You shouldn't want to burn down the house you live in. If there's a broken fucking door, you don't burn down the house. You fix it. And if you can't do it yourself, then you got to ask for help, even if you don't like that other motherfucker. But what you don't do is just go, well, fuck it, it's broken. He deals with it, not me. You can't fix any relationship like that. Not personally, not professionally, and not politically. Sorry. Press play. Sorry. Sorry, FJB.
Wait, let me see that again.
It was time somebody told me to shut up.
What do they think this is? The Black Conservatives Foundation?
Show it. Show the crowd. Show the crowd.
Oh, y'all remember? Okay, you know what? Maybe this was just a bad shot. Maybe they just particularly captured all the white people that were there in that one particular shot. I need a wider view.
Silver tequila would be nice.
I've always listened to all kinds of different music, and really supplemented my education.
That was not better. But you know what? That's your problem right there. We ain't showing up to hear no Ben Carson. That's where you went wrong.
Exactly.
At least Herman Cain used to bring free pizza. And shame on you, Ben Carson, stumping for Trump after we got evidence about what Trump planted in the Inquirer about you during the trial. Now look at you. In addition to the former Secretary of Housing and...
Okay, I'm supposed to play a video, but I'm going to say one more thing. Come on, conservatives. Come on, man. Stand the fuck up for yourself. Stand up for yourself. Stop letting Trump cuck you. Ted Cruz. Ben Carson. Fucking everybody, Vivek, all of you are just letting Donald Trump just cuck you in front of the entirety of America. I don't give a shit. Bring Nikki Haley. Bring Ron DeSantis' serpent ass with this weird-ass smile. At least they ain't fucking completely shitting on your faces while you guys are like, all right, cool. Like, thank you, sir. Like, damn it, man, this is why I'm losing respect.
Urban development. There was also Representative Byron Donalds, because of course, and also John James. During the event, Trump hinted at Donalds being a potential vice presidential candidate, asking the crowd for their opinion and noting his high ranking on the list. And why not? A black man yearning for Jim Crow is hard to find. Well, at least it should be. I'm sure Tim Scott would sign up if you could understand his answer. But Tim, Byron, let me holler at you for a second. Just out of curiosity, what makes you think a man who wouldn't have a black accountant back in the day, who refused to accept a black winner of The Apprentice because he didn't think the public would accept it?
On this phone conversation, I was told exactly what Donald Trump said. Yes, the N-word and others in a classic Trump goes nuclear rant. And when he'd said them, during production, he was mic'd, and there's definitely an audio track.
What makes you think that kind of man would pick a black VP? I'm just wondering. You have both spent a lot of...
And for anybody saying, well, he probably didn't say that. Defamation lawsuits exist for a reason. And we all know over the past 4 to 6 years that people do win defamation lawsuits because Trump and all of his cronies have been losing defamation lawsuits left and right. In fact, Fox News paid almost $1 billion to Smartmatic just so they didn't have to go to trial for a defamation lawsuit. So for anybody that's saying right now, well, he probably didn't say that, this guy's just making it up, defamation lawsuits, they exist for a reason.
Time and political capital. You got us all out here laughing at you for your shoe shining and your shuffle.
Dustin, you can send it to my email. To what end? You should send it to my email.
Do you really think he's going to pick a black vice president? You know what? I'm gonna let y'all waste your time because this is providing a lot of content for me. I don't even know why I'm complaining. Who else was there?
That's all I have to say. I'm like, why am I complaining? The whitest black church I've ever seen. Just so y'all know too, like I grew up in the ghetto. I've been to black churches. I was the only white person. And I was like a fucking the lights from the church glaring off my skin, standing out like a fucking supernova.
Oh, so they just put all the black people on stage. They just went and rounded up all the black people and put them on stage so they could have a nice little photo op. That wasn't obvious when they decided to do that. And what did you tell the people to get all the black people to go up on stage to make sure that you were making a show of the fact that they were there, acting like we shooting a college brochure or something like that? That is crazy. Even American Airlines wasn't this obvious. By the way, we have seen incidents like this before where the black
Right,
for
Jess?
Trump events
That's
just
my
get
email. You can send it
totally
to me.
infiltrated and mobbed because they couldn't have found enough black people to fill it out?
My name is Dr. Shafiq, and I am in Al Jazeera State, Sudan, where violence has force.
Sorry, buddy. I feel bad not playing your commercial. Oh, did I kill the sound? Up, technical difficulty. Drink. I just got instant karma for not playing that commercial. I just got instant karma. It knocked my fucking Bluetooth off. Instant karma.
Is nothing sacred?
Oh, I don't think my headphones did break. I think it was just quiet.
I mean, y'all not gonna leave us nothing. Not even the places we don't want to be. You're not even gonna leave us the places that we don't even want to be. How could you? Is there nothing left for us? Is nothing sacred? The Trump campaign highlighted the economic achievements for black Americans during his presidency, such as, you'll never guess, low unemployment rates. Yay! They went to low unemployment rates. Of course they went to low unemployment rates. If you had low unemployment rates and HBCU funding, come on down. Come on down. He also mentioned increased household income, but why stop there, Trump? Tell him how you appointed 53 appeals court judges.
Isn't being a moderate and a balanced the same thing? No, moderates mean that you still lean towards your side. Moderates are generally people like Obama that I know people are like, no, he's not, he's progressive. But no, his legislation was moderate. Just so you guys know, look into legislation. People can claim whatever party they want to be in. You can say they are what you think they are, all that shit. It's legislation, policy, and administration that determine who you are as a politician. Not the things you say, but the things that you do. And Obama's administration was very moderate because of the fact that it did not push forth antitrust legislation like it should have. It did not deal with climate change like it should have. It did not, like, he reaches across the aisle a lot. And I don't have a problem with that. I actually don't think that that's a problem. But generally, even then, being moderate means that you still lean left or lean right for the most part. So it's not exactly balanced. There's really no such thing as a person that's completely independent. There's rarely ever somebody that is actually, like, straight up, like, right down the middle balanced. That's really hard to be that person.
And not one was
Red
black.
card.
That's right. Yeah, why don't you tell him that?
Dustin.
Why don't you tell him no black appointee in the judicial system? Trump had no black senior White House staff and was the first without a single Hispanic.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys.
Reagan. Why don't you go with that? You always big on the numbers. Now, all of this tells you exactly how confused you would have to be to show up to something like this.
Mm-hmm. And this is my thing. People are like, there's black people with Confederate flags, bro. And I'm like, yeah, there's dumb people in all races. Dumb people of all sexualities. There's dumb cis people. There's dumb fucking non-binary people, dumb trans people, dumb gay people, dumb black people, dumb Asian people, dumb white people. Dumb is not gender or race specific. Jesus Christ. Speaking of dumb. I love that attitude, though. I know a black guy that has a Confederate flag.
Confused as a guy in a Blacks for Trump t-shirt holding a pride flag with Confederate bars. That confused. Who authorized this anyway? I need to know who authorized this event. Like, who is the pastor?
Mm-hmm. $40 selling $40 t-shirts.
That is the pastor of this church. What is he even doing there? Asking for biscuits?
Come on, man. What the fuck?
Oh, I get it. He's selling t-shirts.
He's selling
t-shirts,
merch.
and they look just as unseasoned as I thought that they would. This is sad. They didn't even have enough black people for a choir.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Trump. Happy birthday.
Y'all have no pride left. Zero pride left. What up, Artie?
I absolutely refuse to believe that black people did his hair. Absolutely not. I refuse to believe black people did his hair. No way they would have let him leave that dry. He must have came to this event because he knew it was going to be a bunch of white people there and said, I need a re-up. You know, I need a re-up. Something about him did look kind of familiar, though.
A person that comes to your aid helps
They're
you all
at every
the time.
rally,
and then when he really
grifting.
wants to come to your aid,
they're grifting.
suddenly he's a
It's
racist.
money
When he was
for
the first
them.
one to say that black people matter to him. He said it directly to me. I'm sorry about that. He said it directly to me at the I forgot, not Joseph Cadenson, but Miami Nights.
But he's done so much for the black community, and
sir, he did so much for the black community.
I knew it. I knew I had seen him before. Now, how do they get these people from place to place? Next thing you know, they're in the Bronx. Now they're in Ohio. Now they're in Michigan. How do these people travel? I don't understand where are these
20
caravans?
bucks is 20
is there
bucks.
some kind of Trump Underground Railroad?
That dude's hair was melted to his
derelicts
head.
from city to city?
And that was the moment that I realized the power of fresh food.
Yeah, me too.
I couldn't figure.
Yep. That's
Now,
what
Trump's
I said.
initiative is seen as an attempt to match the
Oh
black
my
outreach
God.
efforts of Biden's campaign, which recently launched its Black Voters for Biden-Harris group in Philadelphia. Biden and VP Kamala Harris credited black voters for their 2020 victory and criticized Trump's history on racial issues, including his actions on January 6th and his stance on the Central Park 5. Despite Trump's efforts, some black voters remain skeptical.
The Central Park 5 thing is crazy.
Comments from focus group participants suggest that Trump's legal troubles didn't resonate with their experiences. Additionally, the campaign faced challenges due to the earlier closure of several RNC minority centers. And you gotta wonder exactly how legitimate that outreach is when they close the outreach minority centers. That tells you exactly how serious he is. Man. Trump's campaign is said to be bolstered by endorsements from popular black cultural figures and support from black Republicans who are organizing events to engage black voters. This includes efforts by Senator Tim Scott, who announced a $14 million black voter outreach campaign, and representatives.
One of the wildest fucking things that Trump has said recently, and I'm like I said, I grew up fucking ghetto, okay? It was super trailer park. And he said, black voters are going to, maybe it wasn't, maybe it's somebody, I'm not going to say Trump said this. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if it was somebody in his party that said this. But that he's going to appeal more to black voters now because he has a felony. That shit's wild. Like, you can't say shit like that. Like, what fucking, like, reality do we live in where you can say that an entire race of people is going to vote for you because you're a criminal now? And not get, like, fucking just torn down? Like, if my ass on YouTube right now said that I appeal to black viewers because I have felonies, I would expect that, like, every one of you fucking people would be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? What the hell does that mean? That is wild. Absolutely wild.
Byron Donalds and Wesley Hunt, who are hosting events
William.
to discuss the black male vote.
My wife is clipping all of these.
Let's take a look at some of these endorsements.
That's definitely a peen.
Oh, I miss 1988. I really do. That was a marvelous year. As Trump continues his campaign, his next event will be a rally in
my wife will
Philly,
love that
offering
clip.
another opportunity to connect with black voters and refine his message ahead of the upcoming
She'll
election.
make it a
But
short
of course,
and put it on my YouTube
not
channel.
before they lie about this event.
Biden's not doing anything like that. Look at the contrast of just this weekend. You got Donald Trump in Detroit talking to 8,000 people, and then at a black church, of course.
See, the thing is, because Jesus turned water into wine. You know, Jesus turned water into wine, and he also multiplied the loaves of bread. And he repeated that miracle in Detroit because he turned 18 black people into 8,000. That's what he turned. It was 18 black people and a couple was biracials. So it was 19 and a half black people, and he turned it into 8,000. It was amazing. It was incredible. Now, as far as
he
Trump sound,
he said 19 and a half.
He doesn't even know what the word inflation means. I don't think if you gave him a quiz, I think he should take a cognitive test like I did. I took a cognitive test, and I aced it. Dr. Ronnie Johnson. Does everyone know Ronnie Johnson, congressman from Texas? He was the White House doctor. And
but he
wasn't,
right? But he wasn't.
He feels in history, so I liked him very much immediately. In fact, he said, if I didn't eat junk food, I would live to 200. That's what he said. But I said, Ronnie, should I take a test?
Man.
He said, well, you know, it's Walter Reed. It's sort of a public hospital. If you don't do well, they're going to find out about it. I said, well, you know, like I'm a smart person.
I'm a smart
how tough
person.
is it? He said it gets
no
very
one
tough
tells
as you get
people
to the
they're
middle
smart
of
if
it.
they're smart.
And I did something that he's never seen done. I aced it. I got every question right.
Oh my God!
The man forgot the name of the physician he was lying on in reference to his cognitive test. Woo! I can't wait for the next MAGA So Crazy. I cannot wait for the next MAGA So Crazy. And by the way, if you missed the first roundup of all the craziness of MAGA, I'll put that link in the description as well.
No, they're all stealing my idea. I swear to God, I got there first. I swear, MAGA Meltdown. I'm just gonna be one of those people that, like, from this point on is like, I started this. I started it. I stole my idea. I'm the Tesla of making fun of MAGA people. I want you guys to support me in that shit too. You guys better not be a bunch of bitches. You guys better be out there fucking telling other people that I started this shit, okay? Also, this man has a Barry Sanders jersey in the background right there, and that makes me love him. Dude, Barry Sanders is the greatest of all time. Detroit, fuck Barry Sanders. Detroit, this is your fault, Detroit. I rooted for Detroit last year. Even though I'm from California, I rooted for the Lions. Because, man, wanting to see the Lions actually win something finally, dude, would have been amazing. All right, how far in are we? I forgot we were supposed to watch this long episode. Let's watch a little bit of this. Let's not watch the whole thing, because I've already been here 2.5 hours. I'm getting tired. So we're gonna let's go Donald Trump with Logan Paul. And I just wanted to point this out to you guys. All right, the very fact that we have Logan Paul interviewing a former president should tell you how far into idiocracy that we have made it. I'm going to be honest with you. If Logan Paul doesn't rip off his suit and expose his spandex WWE wrestling outfit and then DDT Donald Trump in the middle of this room, I will be surprised. Not pleasantly, but I will be surprised. If somebody doesn't get tagged in and somebody doesn't get clotheslined, I will be disappointed. This is where we're at in the history of America, is that Logan Paul is now interviewing a former president.
Biden is just so bad. He's the worst president in the history of our country.
You should make a diss track on him.
Yeah, we'll do something.
Do you think that you're starting to soften your views on some of the networks that you may
Billy,
have
I
not
don't
gotten
think
along
I
with
said
in the
hi to
past?
you. What's up, Billy?
They're fake news.
You had a street fight this past week.
And how did it work out?
How you think, Mr. President?
I think you probably did pretty good. I've watched enough of you fighting.
Unidentified aerial phenomena in the sky. We don't know what they are. Do you?
It's very possible. Really powerful stuff. AI. They made a commercial, me promoting a product, and it wasn't me. And I said, did I make that commercial?
Rat beefs. Big rat beef just happened. Drake.
I'm going to do this a lot. I wonder if he'll let me add this on my, if I can stream this. We're going to find out Logan Paul's cool with me streaming this here in about 5 seconds and my stream goes down.
I think that's this all my life. My whole life. Anyway, hi fellas, how you doing?
How are you,
okay.
How's your brother? Good?
Yeah, he's
Okay, so this, I'm going to say this. This is where Donald Trump belongs. This is where Donald Trump belongs, is with Logan Paul and Jake Paul. And you know whose fault this is? That this isn't something that we're just watching for a fucking clown? Like, in an alternate reality, Donald Trump never got elected president. and we're all laughing at this shit together. No one fucking cares about whether or not Donald Trump's a politician. We all know he's an asshole, a failed businessman. We all laugh the same in an alternate reality. You know whose fault this is? All the people that voted for Donald Trump. You guys voted for Donald Trump, okay? And now we don't get to have a good time anymore. We could be laughing and clowning this shit because this is where he belongs, is on a podcast with Logan Paul, okay? Not as the former president of the United States.
You have a good relationship with him, right?
With Jake?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do now.
His hair is translucent.
It's always been, yeah, I can.
He needs to borrow some of Logan Paul's hair.
Yeah, it's good.
It's good.
Taylor Tyson, we got.
Yeah, right?
Who you got?
When is that gonna be?
November. It got rescheduled.
Well, look, Mike was fantastic, but, you know, Mike's a little older now.
Oh, are we talking about people you know?
Yeah.
We'll talk about that, but you guys can really fight, legitimately fight.
What the fuck is this interview?
You know, it's so amazing because I always thought like a UFC guy or a top, you know, even contender would be able to win at 75 years old.
You think?
Oh,
but it
Jesus
doesn't work
Christ.
that way.
Yeah.
I can't see this
Clock
man's
is still
inner
there.
thoughts.
Yeah.
I cannot be
figured that
allowed to
with
see
Floyd
his
as well.
inner thoughts.
Yeah, well, how about that, right?
I don't know.
I mean, it was even.
Yeah, which
You would
shouldn't
have
make.
thought he would have won that fight.
That's what I thought.
That was your
Yeah.
thinking, right?
Okay. Who's got the bigger ego? Logan Paul or Donald Trump? If you think it's Logan Paul, put a 1 in chat. If you think it's Donald Trump, put a 2 in chat. Who has the bigger ego? Logan Paul 1, Donald Trump 2. It's like a sub-poll.
People still think you did win that
For you
fight.
guys.
Oh, no way. We got gifts.
Sells for a lot of money, this thing.
Oh, no way. Thank you, President.
She split it up. Here's
Oh, amazing.
for you.
What
This
the?
is,
Where
Is this,
are
is this
they?
your mugshot?
This is, yeah, can you believe it?
You're a gangster.
This is what we're reduced to.
Oh my God,
No
this is
way.
so fucking cringy.
Should we put them on now?
Yeah,
That's,
is it crazy?
that's
And
amazing.
it sells.
Trump,
Well, Elvis
yeah.
had one, Frank Sinatra
1.5,
had one.
whatever he
His
hurts.
shirt, but we've eclipsed him.
Melania has left the country, dude.
This is crazy.
It's pretty cool. Isn't it cool?
I have to go.
Unidentified hair phenomena.
I'm not sure if I love it or not, but
No, it's
it
good.
is what it is.
It happened, and might as well
Hold
monetize
on.
it.
Are they in Trump's house, and is that a picture of Trump? Dude, Father's Day just passed, and I didn't get one of those. God. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Dodgeball. Do you guys remember in the movie Dodgeball where Ben Stiller has the picture of himself shirtless wrestling the bull? And the guy looks up, is it Vince Vaughn looks up and he's like, what the fuck is that? And he goes, that's me, grabbing the bull by the horns. That's what it reminds me of. What the fuck is that? How do you talk to a dude under a picture of the dude? This is some like peak rich people shit right here. They're not even using coasters either. What's up with that? Why are there no coasters? This is fake. Because let me tell you this. No rich person's allowing that shit to happen. Okay? This is fake. It's
Well,
fake.
Mr. President, people surely love it. They love the picture. They rallied behind it. They're rallying behind you now.
Yeah, we should make a shirt of me doing that.
More than ever.
And you know, we had the biggest
Steve the
fundraiser,
Pirate.
I think,
Yar.
ever for any candidate ever anywhere in the world in the last 8 or 9
Do I want a
years.
Trump portrait for Father's
In
Day?
hundreds of millions of
It would have
dollars,
to be
and
one that
too
is
bad it couldn't have
creatively
been
made.
done for other reasons, but they viewed the case as being so corrupt and so ridiculous. You know, every one of the legal pundits, and you know, they're
Hold on, because I love him explaining. So this is what I was saying before, is when people said that Trump is just like them, and I shit on them for that, I was so incorrect. Because Donald Trump, 100%, is just like his supporters. Because when his supporters get asked these same questions, they have the same exact answers. They have nothing to do with any legitimate, like, backing, no evidence, no facts, no statistics, no research. It's just, they were corrupt. They didn't like me. That's how everything works. They didn't like me a lot. It was all, none of it was based off of anything. 12 people randomly picked from New York. One of them only got their entire news from True Social. Corrupt, all of them.
Well, Mr. President, people surely love it. They love the
What up,
picture.
DJ?
They rallied behind it.
What up,
They're
BF?
rallying behind you now.
Well, they
More
are.
than ever.
And you know, we had the biggest fundraising, I think, ever for any candidate ever anywhere in the world in the last 8 or 9 days.
He says
hundreds of millions of dollars.
The most.
And too bad it couldn't have been done for other reasons.
World.
But they viewed the case as being so corrupt and so ridiculous. You know, every one of the legal pundits, and you know they're great guys. When you look at Dershowitz, the whole group, you know that whole
every one of them. Every one of them.
Jonathan Turley. Greg
He's like
Jarrett,
all the people that like
them,
me.
They came out and they said, "There's not even a case here. There's no case." And when they saw the jury instructions, when they saw all the things that happened, and it's not like anybody's a friend of mine. Mark Levin is an example. They couldn't believe it. So unfair. You know, it's a very unfair thing. And because of that, the fundraising numbers and the polls.
This is so weird.
But the fundraising, that's sort of like a poll anyway, right? When you get right down to it. But the fundraising numbers went, I don't think there's ever been that much money raised that quickly.
You've become a martyr of
hundreds
sorts.
of millions of dollars.
Yeah, it's insane. $140 million in May that you raised.
$35 million in just hours after the verdict.
Yeah, 58 million within a few hours, and that was in small donations, like $71.
Like none of those numbers are right.
And over a period of a week, we even went to San Francisco.
It's so hard to
not
listen
supposed
to
to be.
when
It's
he
the belly of the beast, right?
Rare visit.
But they had thousands of
Try not
people
to
on the
fact correct
street.
him.
It was so positive, and they
You
raised
can't do
$12
it.
million. The tech guys.
Yeah, whoever agrees with Trump is a
One of the
great guy.
houses, David, fantastic people, and they were like they gave me a lot of money. They've never been into doing that, and I think it helps that Biden is just so bad. He is so bad. He is the worst president in the history of our country, so that helps too.
You should make a diss track on him.
Yeah, we'll do something. We'll do something.
I actually wanted to start there.
Probably will.
Because one thing that I was.
Hold on.
I just can't seem to wrap my head.
Can you imagine if you guys know how people do music in a studio, right? Like they got their microphone in front of their face and they usually speak into it. They're all animated usually. Can you imagine Trump with his hands down next to him? How he does the I don't know what to do with my hands thing, and he's like, Joe Biden so bad. He's so bad, really corrupt, so bad. Somebody needs to do a skit on that shit. I want to see that.
Head around it is
right play.
You got these
Make it
felony
happen.
convictions and a lot of them, like more than Al Capone, right? And there was an uprising. And
you
people
can pay a lot of
showed you their
porn stars
support
off
with
that
their
much money.
donations.
So many porn
And
stars.
a lot of people
they're
are
only
saying it points out
$130,000
actually
a
the
piece.
unjust nature
It's crazy.
of
You wouldn't
America's
think they'd be
justice
that
system.
cheap.
So my question is, like, if that is your belief, if that is their belief,
no, it's like nobody.
Why do you have the desire to give your time and energy to a country or a system that's trying to take you down?
So I ran twice. I did much better the second time than the first time. And if I didn't, I wouldn't have done this. But we had it going like this country has never been going before. It was really good. Now it's really bad. The worst border in history, the worst inflation, I think, in history.
So this is the issue with Trump. If you listen to a politician speak, a well-educated politician, they don't say things like, it was so bad, it was the worst, everything was bad, we have a bad border position. That literally shows that he doesn't understand what he's talking about. Because if you have any information, you guys hear me do this shit all the time, you expend your information because you want the person that's listening to you to understand that you understand what you're talking about. So if I'm talking about the border, then I'm generally going to bring up something like the number of encounters that we've had. I'm going to generally bring up the fact that our system where the people coming across the border are being paroled and then there's no judges or not enough judges to be able to cover the amount of cases there are in a timely manner, thus allowing these immigrants to have to stay here on parole when they don't have the availability to all the things that are necessary for them to be a very important part of our society. It's that easy. Like, you would just say, here's some reasons why things are really bad. You don't just say, they're really bad, or it's the worst. And if somebody ever talks to you in that way, it means they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. This is why it's mind-boggling that people are like, damn, this motherfucker.
The history of the country, the people are getting decimated or something you can fix. You can fix it fast. We were energy independent. We're going to be energy dominant very soon. All these things were happening. And then we
are energy dominant.
Terrible result in an election.
We are energy dominant. We are net exporting.
And we can't ever let it happen again. But
I don't even agree with the drilling for oil, and we are drilling for more oil than Trump ever did, and I don't even agree with it.
Again. And this guy's not going to do it. This guy's destroyed our country. When you allow 15, 16, 17, they have no idea what the gotaways. Million people coming out of jails, coming out of mental institutions, insane asylum. The insane.
So there you go. There's his attempt at saying a number. There's 1 million people coming out of jails and mental asylums. That's not a statistic, and those are Trump numbers. Trump loves to make up numbers, and it's really weird. But I have another video where I put together where he's at the Waco rally, and he says 69. It's one of the funniest things. But he's like makes up numbers throughout the rally. There was 1 billion, 10 trillion, 1,000, 2,569. He has like, and what it is that he knows that the people that are watching him aren't concerned about whether or not the numbers are true. They just want to hear good numbers, big numbers. And that's like, it's activating for them. This is, like I said, this is why this is like mind-numbing.
Asylums all over the world, mental institutions, they're at the lowest levels. They've been at it for years. They're going to be totally empty. And you have terrorists coming into our country. We're going to be paying a big price.
Pretty hot.
And we're going to solve the problem. We're going to solve it relatively quickly.
Have
but
a
we
chair.
have other problems too, with energy, with
nipple.
He's been a disaster as a president. He's the worst president we've ever had.
Exactly,
The
Mike.
good news is he makes Jimmy Carter look brilliant by comparison. So Jimmy Carter's the only one that's happy with this.
Well, look, I think that's why a lot.
Neither one of these fucks know anything about Jimmy Carter. Neither one. Neither one. Go ahead. Let's see this shit again.
And we're going to solve the problem. We're going to solve it relatively quickly. But we have other problems too, with energy, with inflation. He's been a disaster as a president. He's the worst president we've ever had. The good news is he makes Jimmy Carter look brilliant by comparison. So Jimmy Carter's the only one.
Dude, and neither one of these dudes know shit about Jimmy Carter. Dude, this is why people can't take people seriously when they talk to Donald Trump. Look, Donald Trump's a clown. And if you're drinking beers with Donald Trump at some fucking barbecue and he's not the former president of the United States or potentially the next president of the United States, this wouldn't even be an issue. You would just be like, yeah, who the fuck cares? Logan Paul's hanging out with Donald Trump and they're goofing off about dumb shit. But when you are the former president of the United States and the potential next president of the United States and you are interviewing him and you're just laughing like a fucking goofball. He said something funny. I don't know what it was, but he said it like it's supposed to be funny, so I'm going to laugh. Like, that's an issue.
The one that's happy with this.
Well, look, I think that's why a lot of people
shit. It's Beavis
are so
and
obsessed
Butthead.
with
Exactly.
Mr. President Trump.
It's fucking Beavis and
because
Butthead.
You're already a billionaire, right? You are essentially serving these people, and you don't have to be doing it. The president,
No.
being the president seems like a very hard job.
100%.
You were at 3 meetings just before this, but I guess I'm asking, like, the desire to run and attempt to improve your
Okay, but one of his meetings before this was with a probation officer, so it was mandatory.
country for these things you're saying.
Yeah.
It comes from what? Just the love of the
Well,
country?
the people, I'll tell you, when you look at the people, when you look at the crowds, I did a rally in New Jersey. We had 107,000 people.
Hey guys, have you ever heard a Trump supporter ever come into my chat and talk about the size of the crowds? Have you guys ever heard that? That's like so rare. It's so rare to have a Trump supporter come into my chat and talk about the polls or the size of the crowds. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy how, like, we've never ever had Trump supporters that come into my chat and, like, talk ad nauseum about the size of his rallies or the size of his crowds or the size of his polls. No, that's crazy. That's really crazy. Jesus fuck.
You saw that last week. We did one in the Bronx. We had 25,000 people.
Oh, my
And this
God.
was in the South Bronx, which is known as a rough area. And it was like a love fest. There was not even...
It was a love fest. Have you guys seen those videos?
A voice of dissent.
Have you guys seen the
whole
videos
place,
of the
it was
people
like a
fighting?
big love fest. Nobody could believe it. You saw that 3-4 weeks ago. There's tremendous... Our country has tremendous
No, I don't
potential,
think the left has a Logan
but
Paul, dude.
it's going down the tubes very, very rapidly. Nobody has ever seen anything like it, the way it's being run.
It's going down the tubes very, very rapidly. No one's ever seen it. How many times has he said no one's ever? Someone needs a fucking counter for how many times he says things are bad, no one's ever seen it, no one's ever asked him this question. This is the fucking insanity of cult supporters that follow Donald Trump, is that you don't listen to this dude and just hear over and over and over the same shit over, and it doesn't matter whether he's talking to Logan Paul, doesn't matter if he's talking at a rally, doesn't matter if he's talking on a podium as a president of the United States, he just says the same shit over and over and over and over again. God damn it. Sorry, I'm losing it.
So bad. And
of course
we can change it. We can change it quickly. We have a debate coming up.
God, those are the only words he knows.
Hosted by one of your favorite television networks, CNN.
Exactly.
Well, they gave me the option. Exactly. They said, would you do it? And they didn't want to do it. He didn't want to do it. So they gave me everything. Fake tap.
Everything.
And
everything.
Lots of other people that were going to, were involved. On CNN,
U.S. spills us.
They wanted
I
to
just
be
thought
seated,
of that.
which I didn't like. I said we should stand, and I think we won that point. But
no,
I would have
why?
agreed
You
to
won that
whatever
point.
I had to agree to because they didn't want to do it. They thought that I wouldn't do it because it's CNN, but I've done plenty of CNN. I did a town hall not so long ago with CNN that worked out well.
What the fuck is he
but
talking
I think they'll
about?
be fair. I think they're going to try and be fair. I mean, as fair as they can be. But I think it's important for.
Look at Logan Paul even. Even Logan Paul's like, I'm not sure how we got here. Donald Trump is the equivalent of if you give me weed. If you give me weed and ask me if the Anunnaki is a real thing, that is the Donald Trump is the equivalent of me high as fuck talking about a conspiracy theory. Yeah, and it's like really crazy actually. If so, do you know about the Anunnaki? Okay, so like, all right, so okay, I'm off track. Hold on. So wait. Okay, so a lot of people think, all right, and this one guy, okay, hold on. What the fuck, man? Who talks like this?
So they said, you want to debate? Yep, I'll accept.
He's like, how long do I have to be here?
They said the different people that are involved, but let's see what happens. I used to.
And have you ever, I don't know that I've ever heard somebody jerk themselves off this much. I'm just like so good. I'm the best. Everything I do is amazing. I don't know if you guys know that, but like this really important, intelligent person told me that I am. Lots of people do. Lots of people come to me with tears in their eyes. They all say, I'm the biggest, strongest man. I'm so intelligent. My uncle's from MIT. Like, how can you listen to a person talk ad nauseum about themselves this much and find it even like a little bit interesting? Like, fuck, like, if you knew a person personally that did this shit, you would never fucking talk to them, ever. If this was one of your friends, and every time that you talked to him, all he did was talk about how much of a victim he was, how good he is at everything, how the only time he's ever lost was when people stole shit from him, how he's actually the best, the smartest, the fastest, the strongest, you would be like, I'm never going over to that motherfucker's house again. I don't care if he has a Super Nintendo.
To get along with Jake Tapper. We'll see what happens, but it doesn't matter.
What a bleach.
It is.
That sentiment that
yeah,
CNN
maybe he's on the prime.
Fair to you.
Maybe he's on the prime.
Is a bit of a departure
People
from
say
your normal
10% chance.
From your normal hardline stance. Do you think that you're starting to come around or soften your views on some of the?
I like that this dude's trying to take this seriously, and it looks like Logan Paul's looking at him like, dude, stop. No, don't. Just stop. Logan Paul's looking at his buddy like, you're not getting the vibe, bro. This would be much better if they were smoking weed. I'm going to be honest with you. There should be a bong right here. There should be a bong right here. God.
The networks that you may have not gotten along with in the past.
No, they're fake news.
Yeah, fake news.
No, they're so bad.
Oh, that's his answer to the question.
Fake news. But
that's his answer to the question. Hold on.
I thought maybe, I had one with.
Do you think that you're starting to come around or soften your views on some of the networks that you may have not gotten along with in the past?
No, they're fake news.
Yeah, fake news.
No, they're so bad. One of the good terms.
Such an interesting explanation.
No, I don't think so. I thought maybe,
Great
I
explanation.
had one with Caitlin Collins about 4 or 5 months ago.
Why does he do that?
It was one of the highest rated shows I've ever had.
Collins.
And I really thought they were going to go maybe sort of in the middle.
I think it'd be good, Jess.
But I was wrong.
I think we need to get him on weed.
As I'm getting on and I'm hearing the way I'm being announced, they said,
they're
hey,
brothers.
These people are playing hardball.
DJ, and I
They're
could be
making a
wrong.
big
This could be
mistake,
Jake Paul.
But,
sorry if I'm
but
messing
the
this up.
ratings for this debate, I guess, will be quite good.
Massive. Are you surprised by his decision to face-to-face with you?
You mean the fact that they're willing to do it?
That Biden's willing
a little
to do
bit. They didn't want to do it. They thought I turned CNN down. Look, CNN is the enemy. And they thought I was going to turn CNN, and Tapper is,
Nothing dictator-like about calling a news media organization the enemy. Like, Joe, could you ever in your life expect to hear Joe Biden say Fox News is the enemy? I'm not saying that he wouldn't say it in some roundabout way. I'm not saying that he wouldn't say that he doesn't like the things they say about him. But in your life, would you ever expect to hear a politician just straight up call a news organization the enemy? Like that, it feels like to me, like that type of rhetoric, whether or not I like CNN or Fox News, is not good for the rest of the country. And this is what I talk about when I say that he has bad leadership skills. As a leader, there are things that you may believe, but you don't say out loud. There are times, I always point out that when one of my best friends, his dad passed away, I was staring at his refrigerator while we were all kind of hanging out, and they're all deciding what they needed to do about his things and stuff. And I was looking at his refrigerator, and his refrigerator had a magnet that said, being a leader means wanting to panic, but not panicking. And that's like the same goes for the things you say and such, right? Like there are times, like say you have an employee, and that employee is a really bad employee. You cannot deal with the shit they do. But the last thing you would do is say to the other employees, boy, John is shit. God, I hate that guy. He sucks. No, you would handle the issue, and then you would remove the problem. But you would never speak vocally to that out loud because that sets a tone. Being a leader means that at certain times in your life, you have to make a decision to stow your own ego away for the good of everybody else. And that's something that Donald Trump completely fails at. Completely fails
One
at.
of the guys that, when I'm making a speech, so they're waiting for the nomination for months and months. I got it in the quickest fashion.
Leader,
Nobody's ever gotten
really
a nomination
bad
so quickly.
Idea
and I'm making my nomination speech, and they refuse to put it. They're covering it for months and months. Now I'm actually making my speech.
I've actually worked with roofers,
this is the big night. I won the
but like
nomination,
I said,
and they refuse to put it on.
I'm a manager
These
in
are
a
people
different
that
type
don't like
of profession.
Trump. But it's okay.
And
because
so is
I think
Donald
it's important
Trump.
to have a debate, or a number of debates, actually.
The fact that you are so vocal as well, especially on social media, I think works in your favor.
Of course he says
personally,
that.
I like that you come with
Of
receipts.
course he says that.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I've seen you pull them out of your,
No, I
your
understand.
jacket.
Dude, come with receipts. Logan Paul, Jesus Christ. Is he going to drop a Riz? Is he going to talk about the skibbity toilet here in a fucking second? Oh, God. Okay. All right. I just need to... All right. I just stabilize.
Will you have receipts?
I like to do it.
Well, fact checking is fun.
Yeah, I know. We'll check. We're gonna check a lot of things. It's gonna be an interesting. You will be watching, right?
I'll be watching.
We just don't want to schedule it around one of your fights.
Please don't. Please don't.
You do pretty well.
Thanks. I'll be watching. Yeah, I always see you at
So
UFC.
do you
Yeah,
have
you
a-
can
by the way,
see where the
do you have a
makeup
fight,
ends
your
around
brother?
his eyes.
That's the question.
You want to know something?
I want to know.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
because
right.
you are both.
See, this is where Donald Trump could be somebody that you're like, oh, see, now that you're not running for president, that's a funny question to hear from this goofy motherfucker asking this other goofy motherfucker whether or not he'd fight his brother, which we'd all actually probably pay to see, because in that's a win-win situation. Either Logan Paul or Jake Paul is going to lose, and we're going to be excited. Which I don't know which one this is. So I don't know whether or not I want him to lose or not. I'm not sure which of the brothers that I'm supposed to want to lose more. Maybe we should do a poll.
Good. Do you ever fight him?
Thank you. I not in real life.
You
no.
practiced a little bit
Never.
with him, right?
We've never even sparred.
Really?
We don't know. I think.
Well, did you beat him up your whole life?
I didn't. I punched him in the face once.
All
'cause he
these
took my
old people
glasses.
got to be on meds.
But I was
There's
willing
no
to
way,
step in
no
for Mike
way
Tyson
they're not.
when Tyson got sick and had to postpone his fight, and we actually like ran it up the chain at Netflix.
It's hard for brothers to fight, though. I think it's hard.
Not on
I've seen
Netflix
it over
for a
the
big
years.
old bag. Like, figure
there
it
have
out
been
once and
some,
for
though.
all.
I think it's. You don't think so? You love your brother.
Well, me and Jake decided that obviously, like, we both come from a place of love, and
Okay, see this? See this? This is what I'm saying. This is what people that voted in 2016 took away from us. Okay, Donald Trump, family counseling, Jake Paul and Logan Paul. That could have been something with a gigantic golden clock. What the fuck is this? These are just things that we'll never see in our lives, guys. We're never seeing this shit in our lives. Oh, he's just like you. He's just like us, guys. Just
whatever
like
the
us.
outcome would be, we'd have to be okay with it. But obviously, I love my brother.
No, but the shots to the face and
just one time though for the rest of history. You know, that night goes down forever. The Klitschko brothers never did it.
No, they never did it, and they were both good, and they never
they're
did it.
both
They were
the
very
best.
good.
Vladimir and Vitaly are the best.
In fact, nobody really figured out maybe who was better. They had some good fights. They were tough.
Wait, what?
Yeah, well, Jake's tough and he's good, but I'm one and only.
He's very good, and you're very good.
He had a street fight this past week against somebody from a squad you may know as the Nelk Boys.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
When you said you had it out with them?
An actual street fight.
No, but a friendly one or an unfriendly one?
Oh, it was pretty unfriendly.
Yeah,
I was
not
there.
friendly. I would call it a waiver fight. I had
They
it
have
set out.
Oh fuck! I put it all the way. Donald Trump has no idea about anything to do with fighting, and him sitting there talking about it is kind of actually amazing. Yeah, and he fought Bradley Martin, which they didn't fucking record or whatever. Oh my god. Donald Trump is now like entering the realm of YouTube content creation. Please stay out of my realm, Donald Trump. Like, Donald Trump sucks all the air out of the room wherever he is. The last thing I fucking need is Donald Trump on YouTube sucking all the air out of YouTube. God damn it, man. Stay away from... This is my hobby. Don't ruin my hobby.
Did Dr. Phil the other day.
I saw it.
Yeah, he
Amazing.
was great.
We love
He had a street fight this past week against somebody from
no, he has
squad
zero
you may
idea.
know as the Nelk- from the
Did you
Nelk
do
Boys.
some fisticuffs?
Oh, right. When you said you had
did you put up your dukes?
An actual street
Did
fight.
you guys?
No,
did you guys hit each other?
A friendly one or an unfriendly one?
It was pretty unfriendly.
Did you actually hit each other?
I would call it a waiver fight. I had
They
it
have
set
a
out.
great following.
I think
though.
he
They're
did
nice guys.
WWE
We love them.
stuff
They
a long
have
time
such
ago.
you do. Good,
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad because
Yeah.
I'm getting myself into a position.
Just start doing
They
jackass
really are.
stunts. There you
They
go.
did Dana White, who's fantastic.
For sure.
He said, "Would you do the Nelk Boys?" I didn't know who they were. I did it, and they have a tremendous audience, which you can
Ferocious.
tell right away. I did Dr. Phil the other day.
I saw it.
Yeah, he
Amazing.
was great.
We love the Nelk Boys, by the way. The Nelk Boy, we're talking.
Dude, he's like a fucking kid. I'm telling you, he's like a child, and this is why people like the fucking MAGA crowd. He appeals to the MAGA crowd because they're like, oh yeah, he's talking about the Nelk Boys now, and he's like super pumped on going on Dr. Phil. Like, that's just like us, bro. Just like us. You know, forget all the shit about him like trying to overturn an election. Forget the fact that he's an extreme narcissist. All these other really bad things that he's fucking done. And he's just some goofy fucking dude that doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about ever because he's never really had friends. He's always been a narcissist. Nobody wants to be around him. The only reason they want to be around him is because they think that they can get money from him. And he's just sitting there going like, the Nelk Boys, you think they'd be my friends? Dr. Phil said that he'd be my friend. Hi, Logan Paul, will you be my friend?
Talking about
it's fucking weird.
It's kind of like
his name's Bradley Martin.
It's not who you want to be the president.
Because we know Kyle Forgard, Kyle, and John Shahidi for years now.
They're great.
Bradley's
It was
this
a
big
Donnybrook.
260-pound, bodybuilder, and for years he's
why are
called
we
people
talking
out.
about
I'm
Bradley
260,
Martin
I'm
versus
260, I'll
Logan
fight you,
Paul
and
with
got into it
potentially
with
the
Logan,
next
and
president of the
how did it
United
work
States?
out?
This is
How do you think, Mr.
idiocracy.
President?
I think he probably did pretty good. I've watched enough of you fighting.
It was off camera. You know, it was cool. It was like a duel. Like a good old-fashioned just boys being boys. No cameras.
It was a real deal.
The real deal.
And
no rules.
Was he finished?
He quit.
He did.
Was he
But we were very impressed with him, actually.
he showed up.
He has no combat sports experience.
Yep.
Stepped up
he
to
just
somebody.
had
Like
he had
Mortal
muscle, but
Kombat
not
or
the-
something?
Yep.
Just no training.
Yeah.
Just no training.
You ever been in a fist
Oh
fight,
my
Mr. President?
god.
Probably not. I've been
Dude.
in like little.
Wow, that was an amazing moment. That was an amazing moment. He knew he'd probably get called on his bullshit right there. And even then, couldn't just straight up say no. He said, probably not. This is about to be a 40-year-old virgin moment. You guys remember the 40-year-old virgin where Steve Carell character is trying to act like he's had sex, and they're like, wait, you've had sex, right? And he's like, yeah, kind of, pretty much, yeah. And they're like, yeah, like when you're touching on a girl's titties, isn't that the greatest? And he's like, yeah, they're like sand, like two bags of sand, yeah. And everybody's like, you've never touched titties, have you? This is about to be that moment. Let's see that one more time. That was amazing. Holy shit, that was amazing.
It was off camera. You know, it was cool. It was like a duel. Like a good old-fashioned just boys being boys. No cameras.
It was a real deal.
The real deal.
Did you finish him?
Rules.
Was he finished?
Was he finished?
He did.
But we were very impressed with him, actually.
He showed up.
He has no combat sports experience.
Yep.
Stepped up
So
to
he just
somebody
he had muscle, but not the.
Yep.
Just no training.
Yeah.
Just no training.
Donald Trump,
been
so
in a
many
fist
things
fight
Donald
with the
Trump
president?
believed is coming to head right now.
Probably not. I've been like little duels, nothing like
Little duels.
I'd like to say, yeah, I fought my way through school.
Right.
You know, I fought my way out of the Wharton School of Finance. But you know, we didn't have a lot of fighters.
Yeah.
We have fighters, but not that kind of fighters.
What the fuck are
But I've
we
had a lot of fun.
talking
I'll tell you,
about?
we had a great time. Over the years, I've been very much involved with Mike.
Okay, all right. I'm going to give this interview a little bit of a better score now, just for getting Donald Trump to admit that he's never been in a fist fight. And if Joe Biden doesn't bring that shit up in his debate, if he's not like, you know, back in my day, I fought Corn Pop. Who the fuck have you fought? Pop? Corn? And say something about malarkey also. Throw malarkey on the end of that shit. And give him a come on, man. Like, I'm going to be very disappointed if Biden doesn't bring this up in the fucking debate.
Great guy. My son, I have a beautiful boy.
Yes, bone
Baron,
spurs. I was going to show up to the fight.
Big boy.
I was going to show up to the fight, but my bone spurs, they really hurt.
6'9".
Oh, my PDF's at 6'7".
And I couldn't get him to play basketball. He plays soccer. He's a good athlete, too. Good student, good
Big boy
athlete.
for soccer.
But he's 6'9".
Yeah, why would you have a
good-looking
6'9"
guy,
guy
but
play
he
soccer?
is a
Look at
tall
Logan
one. There's
Paul
no
right
question.
now.
I say, Baron, I
Look
don't
at
want to
Logan
take a
Paul.
picture next to you. It's
Neither do we.
crazy. We ought to make him a fighter, maybe.
No, I don't want to.
Guys, it's 2024. We want to spend less and save more. That's just a fact. But how? How are we supposed to save when we're
Logan,
paying inflated prices for everyday essentials like gas and
Stop
We
it.
always see you at the UFC fights.
Yeah.
So you're obviously a fight fan.
I like it. I really enjoy it.
Dark
I think
face
Dana White
pony
is one of a
soldier.
kind. And he's been generous to me. He's made a great statement about me the other day.
I saw that.
That was a nice statement.
Well, because
But
you've had his back for.
Well,
since,
I did, and rightfully. I think, you know, the expression "everybody's replaceable." I'm not sure anybody could do the job he does. Is unbelievable.
Dude, look at that
He
makeup.
gets, I met.
Look at that makeup. Dude, I told you guys at the beginning of the stream, my buddy shared that meme that said, men have it rough. Women can wear makeup, they can wear wigs, and I was like, bro, no, you just don't have enough money. Rich dudes wear makeup all the time, and then they come out and talk shit about dudes wearing makeup. That's what they do. But they act like they don't wear makeup. Look at that. That's so weird. Why wouldn't you just finish that? Why? Who the fuck would spray just to right here? Okay, who the fuck would spray at all? Just be white. It's okay, dude. You don't need to be orange. What is his obsession with being orange? Can somebody explain to me why you would want to be the color orange? I'm not sure I understand the thought process. Okay, so like bodybuilders bronze themselves, right? Because that shows more muscle. So like when you go on a show, you bronze yourself because it shows more definition. But wouldn't that be the anti of what you would want to do if you had wrinkles like his crow's feet? And let me tell you, crow's feet are okay. It's okay to have crow's feet. It's all right. But, like, why would... I don't understand. Somebody help me out.
Khabib,
bye, Jess.
I saw that.
Appreciate you, Jess.
29-0, and his father died, and he just said, "That's
Give
it
me the
for
Pumpkin
me."
King
And, you know,
look.
his
Like,
father
why would
was,
you do
great
that?
at what he did, and probably he never lost even a round. I think he 29-0. They say he never lost a round.
Yeah, why wouldn't you just get a
and
real
I thought
tan?
he was great, and we
It is bronzer?
got to speak. He was just about my favorite guy.
If you make at least $150 grand a year and you're
Mikey.
still embarrassed to take your shirt off at the pool, I'll get you shredded.
This guy's going to get you shredded like a god. Just so you guys know, he is standing in a parking lot with other people's vehicles, okay? He went down to somewhere probably in Beverly Hills, found these two cars parked next to each other, and found an amazing chance to post a video where he's going to tell you how not only can he make you rip like a god, but he's going to tell you how you can get all the ladies, all of them, not just one, but all of them, and they're going to love you, and they're going to help you get these cars right here. Swear to God, they're mine. Sorry, buddy.
And
Sorry.
Really talented. The Strickland was fantastic the other night. I thought he was
100% my strongest stance.
He was.
Everyone wants to come out of the cage and meet you after they win.
They do.
And
Yeah, they do. I'm very honored by it. Every time they win, they jump out.
Yeah.
They jump out of that cage like it's nothing. I don't know. It's pretty high, but they have no problem.
And when you enter the arena, there's an eruption.
This interview is just fucking like... I don't know what I expected. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't know what I expected. I guess this is like trying to make Trump out to be like you're just a broski. I don't know if you guys remember the days of George Bush Jr. and the like when they try and play him off as like the type of dude he'd show up at your barbecue, have a couple Budweisers with you, talk about sports. Which I think all those things George Bush Jr. would do with you, because I have always looked at George Bush Jr. as a gigantic child that really had no place being the president of the United States. And if you ever want, like, people always talk about Joe Biden's a puppet, Joe Biden's a puppet, all that stuff. If you ever want to see somebody that, in my opinion, was 100% a puppet, it was George Bush Jr. And I don't even mean that in a mean way. I mean, George Bush Jr. looked like he did not want to be the president of the United States, and Dick Cheney looked like he was always looking to fuck George Bush Jr. up. Like, George Bush Jr. looked like he was constantly afraid that Dick Cheney was going to shoot him in the neck with a shotgun. And that's one of the only times that I think I've ever 100% seen a president that looked like he really just wanted to go to a barbecue, maybe say the N-word a couple times, and drink some Bud Light. All the while, Dick Cheney was like, you will be in the office when I tell you in your office, and when we set up contracts with oil companies, you sign that shit.
Eruption of cheers.
Yeah.
But I remember...
Mission
'cause I've been going
accomplished!
to UFC for a while. Like, it wasn't always like that. There was a very clear, like, shift.
No, I
in
thought
the
it was going to
perception
be
of
better
you.
than
You
this,
feel like
Mikey.
you feel
I
that
don't
now
know.
more than
I don't
ever.
know what the fuck I thought, apparently.
I've done it in Vegas, Miami. I do it with them, with Dana. Dana wants me to do that. And
I gave
do
them
it,
the
and
benefit of the doubt.
It is an eruption. He said like he's never heard before. They actually stopped a fight. One of the fighters were walking out, and there's a fight going on, and these guys are really going at it. And they heard this crazy sound, and they stopped the fight. They both stopped fighting. They're looking over what happened. They probably thought bad things were happening to the arena. But no, it's been great. And he is just somebody you have to really respect. I imagine you guys do.
Look, I love the UFC. I've been watching the UFC longer than all you fucking people that fucking all of a sudden love the UFC now. I've been watching the UFC since the first one, when it was a fucking VHS cassette tape that was passed around. And the dude that I was sparring with back then, who was a blue belt in Kimpo, his name was Billy. Billy, okay? Not Billy Blanks, by the way. Billy Blanks would fuck me up. But I'd go to this guy's apartment and we'd spar. I had zero martial arts training. I'd go over and spar with this guy and get the shit kicked out of me all the time. And one day he said, "You ever heard of the UFC?" And I was like, "No." He's like, "Dude, there's this one fight where this guy has a boxing glove on. It's fucking amazing." And so we watched that shit. I love the UFC. I've been watching boxing since fucking Marvin Hagler and Sugar Ray Leonard and all the fucking greats, okay? All of that shit. But there is no fucking way that you are ever going to use the crowd of the UFC, nor a Raiders game either, okay, as some kind of indicator of smart people that are voting for the right choice for president. I'm sorry, but the amount of CTE in a UFC crowd is fucking unimaginable, okay? And I love you guys. I love my meatheads. I love my football players. I love my fighters. I love my boxers. But CTE is a real fucking thing. Stop trying to like appeal to people that have brain damage as being some kind of like, he's going to vote for him. You should vote for him because that guy that's been knocked unconscious 3 or 4 times is going to vote for him. That's not who you guys should be taking advice from. God damn it.
But he gets these fighters from all over the world, and they are, you know, some really talented people.
Me and Dana White's the only thing we have in common.
You know, when you can take 200 shots to the face and then look forward to the second.
I'm going to be honest, Felicity. I don't know if you know who this is, but my favorite fighter of all time probably had the most CTE, and that is Arturo Gatti. I loved Arturo Gatti, man. Arturo Gatti was my favorite fighter. And you know why I was my favorite fighter? Because he had the same defense I did. Just stick your face out there. And just let them hit you until they got tired. Arturo Gatti, I saw Arturo Gatti knock a man out with both eyes swollen shut. The man had no eyesight. There were just 2 slits. And he knocked him out in like the 11th round. Arturo Gatti is one of the greatest boxers of all time. I don't give a shit who you are. Fucking love that, man.
Round.
Yeah, I had
it's interesting.
No head movements.
A lot of wrestlers want to be
later,
FJB.
FJB.
Do the UFC thing, but they can't take the shots because they're wrestlers. I've been with a lot of them, and because at the White House,
Herschel Walker,
the
Herschel
national
Walker,
champion
again.
Wrestlers and tennis players.
Oh, Mike Tyson knockouts are amazing.
But speaking to the wrestlers, some of them, there's somebody named Bo Nickel who I think is going to be great. He's a fighter.
Fantastic.
He was a All-American, I think, probably 4 years. I'm not even.
He has no idea. The reason he likes Bo Nickel is because Bo Nickel said good things about him on the Joe Rogan podcast, and because Bo Nickel went and played golf with him. He has no idea. Bo Nickel is, yes, one of the best wrestlers that has came into the UFC since probably like Daniel Cormier. He's an amazing wrestler, but he's also an idiot. I mean, relatively speaking. But is he one hell of a fighter? Oh, fucking 100% he is.
Sure,
Mike Tyson
he went to Penn
was
State,
the shit.
And he's
Later,
phenomenal
Tiki.
as a fighter, and you'll be watching him. But he doesn't mind. If he gets hit, he doesn't mind. Some people don't want that.
Speaking of conflict and fighting,
fucking voting
since you
Biden
left
means that you're
office,
voting for the
number of
Chips and
global
Science
conflicts
Act,
has
Florida.
skyrocketed, and I know
it's
Khabib
terrible.
talked to
What
you
up,
about
Aiden?
it quickly when you spoke
You
with
bet.
him. I think 2 weeks ago about President Biden authorized the use of American weapons in Russia, which has now
we're
led
asking questions now.
to a fleet of Russian
Fuck, I went to
warships
sleep for a second
coming
there.
towards Cuba this week. What are your thoughts and concerns around our current handling of our relationship with Russia?
Well, the
Hold on.
Russian attack.
Hold on. He's going to say he'll end it day one. Day one, it'll be over. It'll probably even be over before I get in the office. Day one, it'll be over. I'll make one phone call, and it'll be over. And this is the type of thing that appeals to people. Like, no actual plan. One of my biggest problems with Donald Trump is that he refuses to actually give any plans because he doesn't have any, which really wouldn't be a problem because I don't believe that presidents should be jacks of all trades. I actually believe that presidents should be good administrators. I believe that presidents should be good leaders. But I do not believe that they should be a jack of all trades. I think that they should put people in positions in their cabinet that actually lead to better outcomes because they are better equipped to handle the situations than somebody that is just literally being elected because they're a populist candidate or because they were the best conservative or best democratic valued person for the job. And that comes to my second problem with Donald Trump, is that when Donald Trump was elected in 2016, I said, okay, everybody calm down. At least he's probably not going to want to do the job himself. He will pay other people to do it. He will put people in those positions so that way he doesn't have to do it. And he did it first. He put Gerald Mattis in charge of, I think he's Secretary of State or Secretary of Defense. He put Elon Musk in the EPA or asked him to consult on the EPA. I think he even was talking about bringing Andrew Yang in for something. And I was like, oh, good job. And then within a year, all of that fell apart. And all of a sudden, fucking Jared Kushner was in, Ivanka was in, fucking Don Jr.'s doing shit. It just fell apart so goddamn quickly. And this is my issue, is that he doesn't have plans And if you don't have plans, then you have to be able to say you have people that have plans. If you don't have people that have plans and you don't have plans, then you're literally just occupying the office for 4 years. And look, that's the most libertarian thing you can do, is just occupy the office for 4 years. I mean, short of getting the job and then quitting the job, that's probably the most libertarian thing you could do. The second most libertarian thing you could do is get the job and then just go play golf, which is why it made Donald Trump probably the most libertarian candidate that has ever existed.
On Ukraine would have never happened if I were president. Would have never happened. It's just a shame.
Mikey, don't fuck with the moderators.
You look at just the soldiers.
They ban you. That's what you
soldiers
get.
Between the both countries.
Don't troll the moderators. Why are you guys?
But so many dead people, so many.
I tell you guys, you can
towns
fuck
and
with me as much
villages
as you
and
want. Leave the
buildings
moderators
and
alone.
I mean, magnificent culture just being wiped out. You okay over there?
Stuff's falling over.
Sounds good. Nice book, by the way. Nice book.
We'll get to that.
That's his book about overcoming drug
promote it.
addiction.
It's a bestseller about the opiate epidemic, which we'll talk
Wow,
about.
that's a
No, my problem with you, Florida, isn't that I think that you're going to vote for Trump. My problem with you is that you won't speak to what is actually wrong with the legislation that's been passed. Like, what's wrong with the Chips and Science Act? What's wrong with the Infrastructure Act? What's wrong with? I know he got booed by the Libertarians, Titan. Like, this is Florida. I think you're a person that is in the doomer conspiracy element, but you seem to be able to have a conversation with people, which is the first step to starting to like figure out shit. Like, if you even told me that you wanted to vote for Trump, but you wanted to vote because you have these reasons policy-wise, you have these reasons legislation-wise, or if you say, wait, you said that about him having Madison stuff, he replaced him with Milley, I think Milley was better, blah, 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 blah. He didn't replace him with Milley, he replaced him with somebody else, and then he eventually replaced him with Milley. You know, like, that is my problem with the majority of people that come in here, is to think that you're going to come into a conversation and say, Joe Biden is bad. Okay, why? Because everything sucks. That's not enough of an argument. You have to explain. It's just the same thing as I say about Trump here, is that every question that Trump answers, he doesn't answer with any significant amount of information. He just says things are bad, things are worse, things have always been worse when other people are the president, they're always good when he was president, but he doesn't actually provide any evidence for why that's true. Just like I just said, he doesn't always ever provide a plan for how he's going to do things either. All I'm asking from almost every single person that walks into my chat and says things is that if you want to say something and you want to disagree with me on something, just provide some type of reasoning behind what you think that doesn't specifically have to do with appeals to emotion, that has something more to do with policy, legislation, administration. If we want to make appeals to emotion, then me and you are just going to sit here and argue about shit all day long, because that's all appeals to emotion do.
That's a great topic, because it's so sad to see what's happening. So bad. But it's a shame, because it never would have happened. And it didn't happen during my 4 years. It didn't happen. It wouldn't have happened. I got along very well with Putin. I got along with Zelensky. But it wouldn't have happened.
I definitely don't think Joe Biden's bad at politics.
And October 7th
and Trump is not a career
never
politician,
happened.
But he is a politician now.
Inflation would have never happened. And the withdrawal, the kind of withdrawal, we were getting out of Afghanistan with dignity and strength. But to get out the way, I think it was the most embarrassing day in the history of our country.
I'm not going to sit up here and tell you I know something about something I don't.
The way Afghanistan worked,
I don't know exactly what that is.
I think when Putin looked at that, he said, wow, let's go in. And you know who else looked at it? President Xi of China.
I would have to look
and
into
it. And
he
is looking at Taiwan, and he's drooling. He's drooling over Taiwan. And so something could happen there. We've lost a lot of respect. They're laughing at us all over the world, and that wasn't happening 4 years ago.
I actually agree with that, Mikey.
And with you back in office,
but
you
fucking
think we'll
Donald
get that
Trump
respect
hasn't earned
back?
shit.
Yeah, we'll get it back.
Donald Trump
What's your relationship like with Vladimir
Something
Putin?
you should be against.
I think very good, but I was tough with him. You know, I ended the pipeline.
It's why people get wealthy and middle
it's
class
called
people
Nord Stream
can't
2.
get
Nobody ever heard of
fucking
Nord Stream
upper
2
middle
until
class.
I got involved. And it was the biggest project ever done in Russia. I mean, you know, this was a pipeline that was going to supply oil and gas to all over Europe, Germany in particular. And I said, what are you doing? Why are you doing this to Germany? I said, we're defending you under NATO, and you're paying billions of dollars a month to Russia. You mean we're defending you, and you're giving the people we're defending you from, we're giving you
So this is, like I said earlier, one of the very few places where I'll say that Donald Trump has a good point of view, and that is that other people should pay more. But this is something that people don't understand. So people will say things like Germany only paid X amount of dollars. But it's just like the argument for tax cuts. If you look at percentage of GDP, that's what matters. It's not the amount of money that's being paid. It's the amount of money that they're capable of paying. So like my business that I work for, right? I want to be paid as much money as I possibly can at any given moment, right? Like that's what everybody should want, is to be paid as much as you deserve, plus whatever they can afford to give you to keep you happy. So in that element, if I were to go to my boss and I were to say, I want $80 an hour, and they were to say, if I pay you $80 an hour, then the business will go under, and therefore the business will no longer exist. But hey, we're going to pay it to you because we need to keep you, and we need to keep you happy. Well, that doesn't make any kind of sense, because if they pay me that money and the business fails, then there's no job for me, and therefore I got paid for a very short amount of time, a high amount of money, when I could have made more money over time. So when we approach people within NATO or other alliances throughout the world and we say, you need to pay more money, that needs to be based off the percentage of their GDP, not based off of how much money we give versus how much money they give, because we have an enormous GDP. We have one of the highest GDPs. We are the number one economy in the world. We have, whether or not you guys want to believe it or not, we have incredible amounts of money in this country that we should be using to take care of our own, which is something that we agree on. Whether it's Florida or whether it's Mikey or anybody else, I'm sure all of us can agree that we should be taking care of Americans. But that does not mean that you can keep all the money. You have to proportion some of it out for foreign relationships, because if we don't help them when we need help, they don't help us. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I love my military family. And I am for actions outside of the country, though I wish that they were minimized and that they were better, there were better receipts for those types of things. I think that transparency needs to be worked on within the government, and I think that we should all be asking for legislation in that manner. But if I'm going to be like 100 with you, like as far as like being out there and being in proxy wars like Israel or Ukraine, when you look at the things that are backing up the reasoning behind it, it makes sense, because you can't pull within yourself. You can't just say, I'm not going to do anything for any other country in the world and then expect that you're going to get good trade deals for other countries. You can't. Donald Trump's point of reasoning is that if you are just the bully in the room and just make people do what you tell them to do, they have to give you things. They have to come to you. But if you've ever been in business, you know that's not true. After a certain amount of time in a relationship that is only take, all of a sudden you start to recognize that you have a bad faith agreement with that other person, and they are no longer looking to help you out. So in a certain position, I had something that one company was doing for me in my business. That company was doing me a favor. They're helping me to get rid of a certain type of recycling that I would have had to go through another company for, which was a pain in the ass. Now, that company that was taking care of the recycling for me was also somebody that I was purchasing products from. So we had a give and take relationship. At one point, their drivers came through, they saw the recycling, and they said, I'm not going to do that. Now, I said, that doesn't make sense. You've always done that for me. I need you to do this for me. That guy said no. He said he wasn't going to do it. I said, okay, I understand that. Let me call my connection. I called that guy. I say, hey, man, I need you to do this because I've been doing you the favor of purchasing this product for you that's more expensive through your company than through this other company, which I could be getting it much easier. I don't have to do forward orders. I don't have to just in time. And he goes, I'm sorry, man, but I really can't help you out. Now, at that point in our relationship, I said, I'm doing you all of these favors, and you're choosing not to do the one little favor that's keeping this relationship solid. At that point, I told him, I will no longer be buying this product from you. I will now be buying it from the cheaper vendor. And did it upset him? Yes. But that was the way it works. Because if it's only a give relationship and it's never take, then you are not going to have a good faith relationship. And America has to do the same things. America has to give to get. And people that have this like really simplistic like mindset, like that Donald Trump's whole like make them come to us is going to be successful on the world stage, or globalism is bad because we shouldn't be helping out people around the world. We should just let it all burn down. That doesn't make any sense. We need resources from those countries. Not everything that America wants is made in America. A lot of the things for new technologies are actually sourced from outside of the country. In fact, a lot of the times we don't have to destroy our environment, which is still not a great thing, but we don't have to destroy our environment because other countries are doing it to theirs because they're fucking greedy and want to sell all their shit, right? Like this is what I'm saying is nothing is as simple as just stop and take things away from people. But as I started this conversation, I do still believe there is wiggle room in the United States of America for us to make people pay more to do better in their part. I think that we are constantly trying to build capital with other countries. We're constantly kind of giving that good faith. But I am a business person that does not just always give. I want something for what I get.
The defense, but you're giving them money at massive amounts. Probably the biggest project, most important, one of the most important projects.
Yeah, what he did with tariffs hurt our farmers.
I ended it.
And
it
if he could have done it better.
And then this guy comes in and he approves
there's a
it, but he
better
kills
way
Keystone.
to do that.
The Keystone XL.
Yep.
So it's sad. But Putin said to me,
yes, with the
"It's
help of the
biggest
UN, we
thing. You
defeated the
ended it.
Germans.
You
That's why
ended the
these
pipeline."
things exist.
He said,
they're very
they all say
important.
you and I are friendly, but I'd hate to see you as an enemy. But this was the biggest, this was massive amounts of money and everything.
But that's
else.
how you
But
talk to him
Biden
like
came
that?
in, huh?
You talk to him like that?
Oh, no, I had a very good relationship. That's a good thing,
No,
not
he
a bad
did.
thing. And I'm trying to tell people, no, it's a good thing. They've got...
Okay, first of all, he was speaking through a translator. So that translator don't want to die, dog.
I would give you the exact number, but they gave a lot. Just under 2,000 nuclear weapons, and we do also. And when you have nuclear...
He pulled out of the fucking the treaty with Russia to legitimately halt the production of nuclear weapons. See, this is what I'm saying is like some of this stuff is just not factual. But okay, whatever.
Nuclear weapons, and even if you don't have nuclear weapons, getting along is good, but be the tough one, be the smart one. Get along is good. I tell the press all the time, no.
He's
the
not
fact that I
wrong
get
about
along
that.
with Kim Jong-un, North Korea.
That's crazy.
President Xi.
Okay, just so you know, he does not get along with Kim Jong-un. At the end of their relationship, he literally threatened to nuke North Korea. The North Korean press secretary said Mike Pence is dumb and looks like an idiot. I'm not making this shit up. You can literally look this up. When the summit fell apart, which just so you know, when people have a summit, they usually talk about things that they're going to do when they go into the summit before they go to the summit. There was no actual plan as to what they were going to talk about before the summit. It was just going to be Trump goes and talk to Kim Jong-un because he had one prior conversation with him. Donald Trump literally said, our arsenal is bigger than yours and don't make us use it. That is not a good relationship. It's not a good relationship to tell other countries after they make fun of your vice president and say he looks like an idiot that you will nuke them. Once again, if you don't believe me, look that shit up. Yeah, in the beginning he did. Not at the end, though. Not at the end.
It's all good stuff getting along, but nobody ever took money out of China like me. I took hundreds of billions of dollars out in the form of tariffs and taxes. No other president took not 10 cents. And, China built their military because of the United States. The United States was giving them hundreds of billions of dollars a year in excess flow. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. But we took out hundreds of billions of dollars from China. And
this is the problem. Like, I want to take at face value the things that Trump says, but the number of times that I've gone and looked up the numbers that he says, he's always wrong. And I don't know if he's doing it. I believe he does it on purpose because I think he's just like a habitual liar. I think he's compulsive because he either just doesn't know the number and so he makes up a really big number. Maybe he has memory problems. I don't know what the fuck it is. But every single time that I've been like, wow, that's actually a crazy number. I didn't know that. And I go and look it up. It's incorrect. Like, this is my problem with this dude is that, like, you can't take anything he says at face value because then when you actually go look up the shit, it's wrong. And if you don't believe me, then go look up the shit. Like, you don't need to believe me.
Until COVID, that was a breaking point.
No, he's not better than Joe. I'm sorry, Mike, he's not.
No, but he was a guy that I respected. He liked me and I liked him. That's a good thing, not a bad thing. You know, the press says, oh, isn't it? You say, yeah, he's a leader. He's a smart guy. They say, smart man. They say, oh, Trump said he was smart. He leads 1.4 billion.
Okay. So I've seen some of this shit Biden said that I feel is dishonest, and I've looked as much into it as I could and been like, it seems like it's dishonest. But one of the things I'm going to give you guys a hard time for right now, Mikey, because if you believe that he's always dishonest, you're going to probably say that Beau Biden didn't die in Iraq. And you know that if your child was in the military and got cancer from the pits in Iraq, you would say he died in Iraq. Like, some of the things that he says that you guys claim he's being dishonest, like you guys claim that he was dishonest about the being arrested thing during the civil rights movement for being on that black family's porch. If you've ever been, I just did this the other night. I said to my wife when I was 14 years old, we were talking about how early in my life I got facial hair. So I had like a full goatee when I was 14 years old. And me and my badass friend that were out at like 11, 12 o'clock at night, and curfew was 10 o'clock, got rolled up on by some police. The police wanted us to ask for ID because you have to have an ID on you. I had my school ID. I showed him my school ID. He said, wow, you can't be 14. How do you have that much facial hair? And I said, well, I went through puberty because I was a dickhead. Okay? And in that story, I said to my wife, the police then arrested us and took us home. Now, I use that terminology because we were put into the back of a police car and driven home. Now, is that dishonest, or is that saying I didn't know a better word for it, so that's what I used? And this is my problem with when you guys sometimes say these things about Joe Biden. There are things that, in my opinion, that I have looked up, looks like he was dishonest about, and I am willing to admit that, unlike Trump supporters not being able to admit that Donald Trump ever does anything wrong. I am willing to admit that it seems like some of the things Joe Biden said were dishonest. But some of the shit that he says, you guys just take completely out of context, and you're like, see, he lied. And it's like, you should be able to put yourself in his shoes without freaking the fuck out and go, oh, I get it. A police officer stuck him in the back of the vehicle and took him home, and probably to white bread ass Joe Biden, that was being arrested. Okay? Yeah, that's one of the things I looked at. He knew. You can't say he didn't know corn pop.
But I got along with him. I got along with him.
You don't even know if he knew corn pop. How can you say he didn't know a person he talked about? That's like you saying I didn't know my best friend I just talked about. You can't verify that I know him.
Nobody else could meet him. All of a sudden,
this is what I'm saying. You guys go so far for this shit.
We started talking a little bit. We got together, as you know, twice. Got along very well, but we were in no danger from them. And we were in serious.
Aiden, I would point out the same thing that I just said, Aiden, about the 51 intel agents that lied to the American public about the Hunter Biden laptop. You don't know that they lied. For all you know, people were dishonest to them. See, this is my problem with conspiracy theory, is there's a whole lot of I think and I feel. And if all you are making is I think and I feel statements, you're probably wrong. So this is what I say about people. You can either be the type of person that gives grace and has faith, or you could be the opposite. And that's the type of person that is very judgmental and very pessimistic. That's your choice in your life. You can give grace and faith, or you can be pessimistic and judgmental. I choose to have grace and faith. Therefore, generally, if somebody says that 51 intel agents signed that the Hunter Biden laptop wasn't real, I want to believe at the beginning, before I get into the research, before I get into the evidence, that the most likely thing to have happened was the most simple thing to have happened, and that those people did not know that it existed. Then we get on to what is the most important thing, and that is, was there anything on the laptop that has came to light that has turned out to be anything worth talking about? Other than dong pics, crack pics, and prostitute pics, which you all have on your laptops as well. Okay, maybe it's not crack. Maybe you're a high-class white guy and you've got cocaine pics. Okay? But other than dong pics, prostitute pics, and crack pics. And you know why I know that there isn't anything else on that laptop that's worth talking about? You want to know why? Because they haven't put him on trial for anything. Aiden, the only thing that they have put Hunter Biden on trial for is not checking a box that said he didn't do drugs, which by the way, 99% of America needs to turn in their guns because you're all smoking weed. You're all on pharmaceuticals. You all drink alcohol. So you should all turn in your guns if you support the Hunter Biden verdict. If you support Hunter Biden having a gun for 11 days and being prosecuted for that, then you should turn in your weapons immediately. Because if you don't, you're a hypocrite. Okay? It's not all hearsay. So look, Aiden. Let me explain to you my thinking to maybe help you with yours. In the judicial system, there are different levels of guilt. So in like a civil trial, which is the easiest way to prove guilt, it's more likely than not. That means you have to have a threshold of the evidence equaling 51%. So 51% means that in a civil trial, you can be found guilty and held liable because there's no criminal charges in a civil trial. You can be held liable for what you've been accused for. So in the civil trial of Donald Trump, he was found more likely than not to have committed sexual abuse and was fined how much ever. Eventually, it was like, $450 million, something like that eventually, because he couldn't shut the fuck up and couldn't stop defaming fucking the person that he had already been found guilty of abusing. Jesus Christ, he's his own worst enemy. Anyways, so in a criminal trial, genuinely, you're going to be looking at something that's like beyond a shadow of a doubt, which I think is the highest level. So you're looking at degrees of like 70 or 90%. So this is why a person can be found not guilty of something, but they're not innocent. It means that you didn't prove up to 70 to 90% that they were guilty of those trials. That's why Hillary Clinton wasn't put on trial. That's why Joe Biden will never be put on trial, is because federal investigators do not take people to trial, specifically grand juries, unless they know they can convict. And in a trial that is criminal, that would involve something like beyond shadow of a doubt, you would have to prove to not just one grand jury, but at least 2 grand juries that you had evidence that proves that they are 90% or more or 90% likely or more to be guilty. And that's why you don't see these people taken to trial. So when you have something like the Hunter Biden laptop, which we're not putting on trial, but I still use the same thinking. So I say to myself, where does the preponderance of evidence land? Is it, yes, it has things on it that are potentially prove a connection between Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, and things like Ukraine or China. Okay, does that can be on that laptop, right? On the other hand, maybe there isn't. Maybe it's crack pics, hoe pics, and fucking dong pics, right? Or is the answer somewhere probably in between? That there's a lot of things that you can make I think and I feel statements about that things seem shady or feel wrong or seem suspicious, because none of that terminology can be applied in a judicial court. You can start with that. That's how you start an investigation. It's also how you start the scientific method. That's how you start a hypothesis, is with the I think or I feel statement. And then you start to investigate it. So even when I'm telling you that I don't think that Joe Biden, that there's enough on Hunter Biden's laptop to prove he's guilty in court, that doesn't 100% mean that I don't think that there's anything suspicious that could be going on there. But it is it's not helpful. It's not helpful to have a conversation where you say to people, I think something suspicious, I feel something shady, if you can't prove it to a certain percentage, because you can say that all goddamn day, but that's never going to be taken to trial, because our judicial system does not work off of I think and I feel statements. And you should agree with that, because you would never want someone next to you to say, I think that Aiden has done something wrong, therefore he should be put on trial. Somebody says, let's see your evidence. You say, I don't have any, but I think it's very suspicious. And then they put you on trial. That does not make sense. It does not make sense. Mikey, the only thing you say, Mikey, is Joe shit his pants on a national stage. Like, you are nothing but I think and I feel statements, Mikey. There is no hope for you. There's no hope. Yeah. No hope for you, dog. You do nothing but make I think and I feel statements. You have zero actual facts or evidence. You've been in my chat like 5 times. 5 times. Every time it's the same shit. You're just the same person. I'm just gonna call you a troll because you're a troll. All right, let's that's about as far as we're going because it's like been like 3 hours, right? I do a 3-hour show. 3.5 hours. Holy shit. This is Mikey's so goddamn engaging. I can't stop. No fact, Mikey. Have you heard what's on the laptop? I've seen a lot of what's on the laptop, and now I can't get this shit out of my head. Well, let me explain it to you, though, Aiden. Are you a lawyer? Are you a law professor? Have you ever taken something to criminal trial? Because one of the problems with our current atmosphere is that there's a bunch of people that my boss calls IFEs, and that's the instant fucking experts. One of the biggest problems with our society right now is we are being over inundated with information. It's exhausting. Everybody feels like their place in the hierarchy is dependent on whether or not they have an answer to each given subject. So if somebody comes at you and goes, what about the Ukraine war? You have to know about war. You have to know about the economy. You have to know about legislation. You have to know about what each politician did. Okay, what do you think about Israel-Hamas? Well, at least that's kind of similar to Ukraine war, but now we've got a whole different set of people involved. What do you know about Hamas? What do you know about Gaza? What do you know about Hezbollah? What do you know about the Abraham Accords? What do you know about Iran and our relationship with them in the 70s and 80s? So then if you don't know enough about that, now you're falling in. Okay, now somebody comes to you and goes, what about the Hunter Biden laptop? Well, how does that connect? Now that's going to go to the crime family. Well, what about COVID vaccinations? Oh, now I'm a virologist. Fuck, I need to know about virologists. Fuck, a train just crashed. A boat just ran into a bridge. You need to know things about all of those things too. And you can't. The reality of the situation is that we are overstimulated and we are undereducated. We are attempting to educate ourselves through 15-second TikToks to multiple different things because they're coming at us in such an insane speed. And everybody around us is judging each other, purity testing as it may be, as to where you fall on all of these topics. And it's not good for anybody to do that. You should be able to say the words, as I've said a couple times during this, with you, I've said, I don't know enough about that subject. I would have to look into it. There should be times in your life where you say, I don't know enough about that subject, but I will look into it. There are times where people come on here and want to talk to me about Israel and Gaza. And I freely admit that though I think innocent people dying in any conflict is fucking horrific, specifically women and children and innocent civilians. But I don't know enough. Anything that I tell you guys about that conflict would potentially be misinformation and could lead to people having opinions on shit that like are unsupported by facts. So in that instance, even though I have literally lost subscribers because they're like, you have to have an opinion on the subject, I will say to people, I do not know enough about that to have an educated opinion on that. It's okay. It's all right. You can say that. I bet you like 100 fucking people just left right now because they're like, fuck that. You should. It's easier than that. But it's not. You can't be a virologist and an expert on war and an expert on the economy and an expert on immigration. It's not possible. And you're not. There are people that have spent 10, 20, 30 years of their life dedicated to single subjects that you think after like a couple hours of looking at TikToks and your favorite influencer that you can dispute the things they say. But the truth of the matter is that humans are somewhere between bees and chimpanzees, to quote Jonathan Haidt, or as I've always said, ants and cats. And it's very important that at certain points we are very selfish and freedom-loving. And then at other points, it's very important for us to give grace and faith to experts because we need people that are good at the things that they do. That's what makes America great. America doesn't need to be made great again. America is great. And what makes it great is we have a diversity of thought because we have blended so many different cultures, which is both our weakness and our strength. But we have blended together so many different cultures with so many different ways of thinking and so many different ideas that we have now created sets of people throughout our society that are really good at certain things. But the basis, the foundation of America is the middle class. And the middle class is driving itself crazy, trying to elevate itself in the hierarchy to the place of experts. When what the middle class should be doing is voting for legislation to slim down the wealth gap, to encourage transparency in our government, to strengthen unions, and support the poor. Because if you don't support the poverty-stricken, then the middle class never gets out of the middle class. Because as I said before, the economy is dependent on poverty-stricken people being risen out of poverty. None of that stuff make any sense? Do you hear what I'm saying, Aiden? I'm talking specifically to you. Do you hear what I'm saying? You're driving yourself nuts trying to be an expert on all these things. And the outcome that almost every person's going to come to when they drive themselves nuts on all these different things, when they exhaust themselves, is pessimism. It's doomerism. It's everything's bad, everything's corrupt because it's not my fault. I'm not accountable. I'm not responsible. They are. They are. As my favorite quote from, I believe it's Alan Moore, is that the funniest thing about conspiracy theory is that they believe that there's a group of people that are in charge of everything. But the scariest thing that nobody wants to talk about is that nobody is in charge. The world is rudderless because it's too big to control. America is too big to control. The world is too big to control. And we, as human beings, have an obsession with control. It's why we weed eat. It's why we mow our lawns. It's why we trim our bushes. We have an obsession with control. And it drives us to places of pessimism and doomerism when we feel like we're not in control. You have to do yourself a favor, and you have to give yourself grace and say to yourself, I don't have to be perfect. I don't need to have knowledge of every single thing. And just pick a subject and research it and be really good at it. All right, guys. I've talked a lot. Aiden probably left a chat already. I've read tons about Biden. I've read more than you have, Mikey. Like I said, you're a troll, dog. Sorry. I only give people so much grace. I give you too much grace, dog. I've given so many of you guys so much grace. If you think you've read more on Biden than I have, I don't know the fuck to tell you, dude. Like, this is what I do. I don't know what to tell you. I actually look into the politicians and whether or not I want to vote for them. I know more bad shit about Biden than you do because the shit that you believe that Biden did bad doesn't exist. The shit that I believe Biden did bad can actually be verified with facts and evidence. That's the difference. We're not the same. What do I like? Dude, how many times have I gone over all the things that I've liked on this channel while you're in the chat? The Infrastructure Act, Chips and Science Act, the reduction of college debt. Oh, I've read lots about Trump. Like I said, this is what I do. Like I said, you guys can't give no grace and you can't have no faith because you're stuck in judgment and pessimism. Everything is just doomerism. It's just judgment and pessimism 24/7. No grace, no faith. Chips and Science Act, Infrastructure Act, American Recovery Act, bipartisan gun bills, reduction of college debt, foreign relationships. Like, there's tons. Look, and see what you did, Mikey? See what you did? You went to the War on Drugs Act. It's not a War on Drugs Act, but yeah, sure. I get what you're going for. I get what you're going for because I'm giving you grace. And no, I don't agree with those things. I've already said I disagree with the 1994 crime bill, and I've already said that Joe Biden agreed with you as well, that the 1994 crime bill was a bad idea. But you don't want to. You don't want to admit that you could possibly be wrong because it shatters your reality. Because everything that you currently exist on is based on you being correct. I can be wrong, and I just fucking go, all right, change my point of view. I can move on. Because I'll say this to you, and I'll hope that you get this through your head. You should never be married to any idea because divorces are ugly. You can be in a serious relationship with a couple ideas, but you should never be married because no one wants to get divorced. And you'll do anything to not get divorced. So just think about that shit. I know you don't watch me all the time. But fuck, man, I've said this like a million times. I said the reasons. And I don't mind. Maybe I'll make a video and make you fuckers watch it. I don't know. But I've gone over everything. I've literally sat here and debated what Trump has done good with Trump supporters that don't know anything about what Trump has done well. I've debated what Joe Biden has done bad with people on the left. I've literally had people on the left yell at me and unsubscribe. Because I don't just sit up here and say I'm right all the time. I have conversations, and sometimes people don't like the ideas I am. That's why I don't join a gang. I am a left-leaning person with progressive values. I am not in a party. All right. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Mikey, that's an appeal to emotion, dog. You have the right idea and the wrong argument. Right idea, wrong argument. You're just making an appeal to emotion. That literally is, you're not fucking giving any reasons behind that. All right, whatever. I'm just going to let it go. I could probably sit here and argue with Mikey about this shit the whole night. I appreciate you guys. I'm thankful for all of you guys that push back against me. That is what we are supposed to do in conversations. Aiden, I appreciate you. Mikey, you're fucking frustratingly dumb, but I appreciate you. Because I give you grace. Because I have faith that maybe one day you can fucking get it through your head that you can be wrong, dog. You can. It's okay. Gina, Bucket, Nana, you don't. Everybody that stayed in here. Mitchell. Mitchell, you came at the end. Mitchell, I'm going to put out the replay in horizontal tomorrow, just so you guys know. Replays on horizontal come out the next day. Titan, don't forget the PAC Act, helping veterans. Good job. Thank you. Nate, welcome to the stream. Thank you for being here. And Bucket, you know I love you. You're always my favorite, Bucket. All right, guys. Thank you to everybody that watched. Thank you for being here. Continue to be here. Sometimes this shit's exhausting, but it feels like we should be doing this shit specifically right now to try and make things better and try and help and try and do something good. So I'm thankful for everybody that's been here. You can always click the link up top. It has the link to my PayPal. It has the link to my bonfire. It has the link to join my ginger army for only 10 cents a day. You can support a soulless ginger that sits here and argues with people like Mikey all day long. Mikey should fucking pay me $3 a month just to argue with him. I thank you. And I appreciate you. Live streams, Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, 5 o'clock on Monday and Wednesday. Saturday is usually 5, but sometimes earlier in the day. New MAGA Meltdown tomorrow if you guys want a good laugh at people talking about flat earth and not going to the moon and fucking gematria and all the crazy shit that fucking insane extreme MAGA supporters talk about. Watch that video tomorrow. Like it, comment on it, share it, talk shit. I don't care. But that comes out tomorrow. Check out the podcast. People like David Lipsky, Richard Abel, Adam Mockler. We got podcasts with all those dudes. Super fucking cool people. I enjoy all these people. I enjoy doing this thing. I'm super thankful for all of you guys. Oh, let's do the 83% of you guys said yes on term limits. Good job, guys. All right, guys. Mike, have a good night. Other Mike, have a good night. Nana, have a good night. Bucket, have a good night. Bucket, or Manic, I'll see you in a second. Bye, Fatty. Love you, Fatty. All right, guys. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.